Have you guys ever had like Jehovah Witnesses come to your door?
In Australia, I did, yeah.
In Japan?
No.
Japan.
Do they exist in Japan?
I didn't know they existed until one like turned outside my door.
Because you got a nice looking house. That's why.
Yeah.
They're going for the nice looking house.
I live in a shack, dude.
And then like I opened the door and they were like, "Oh, can we sell you on the word of Jesus?" And I was like,
In English?
Yeah. Well, they saw me and they had like a Japanese guy and a foreign woman. And as soon as I said, "Sorry, I'm a Buddhist," the girl looks at me and goes, "Do I know you from somewhere?" And I was like, "No." No, probably just a mistake, and I just shut the door as quickly as I could.
You should have been like, "What's your source?" Pulls out the Bible.
I was like, I don't know. I'm just another Asian bloke living in Japan. I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't know they existed in Japan.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
That's
What,
interesting.
Asian people?
No, Jehovah.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Trash Taste. I am your host for today, Garnt. With me again are the boys. I didn't realize we'd already started our pre-talk, but hey, Jehovah's Witnesses and almost getting doxed. So yeah,
What a strong opening.
what a strong opening. But I went to a haunted house yesterday. Or at least
really?
a haunted house experience.
Oh wait, yeah, because it was Sydney's birthday, right?
Yeah, it was Sydney's
Yeah.
birthday.
What
Happy
was it? What was it
birthday.
called?
Huh?
What was it called?
I can't remember what it was called. It was but
Scaredy host.
yeah, it was something along those lines. But Sydney was like, I've wanted to go to this haunted house. It's been made by, and this is like my husband listening skills coming along. It was made by some guy who was famous for doing some ghost stories in Japan. And I was like, okay, honey, we can go.
Inagawa Junji, maybe?
if it was Junji Ito, and
No, not Junji Ito.
Okay. I would know. I would know.
There's another famous Junji
Yeah.
called Inagawa
God.
Junji.
Ah,
He's
okay,
like a
okay.
Japanese like TV presenter who like got famous because he told like a bunch of like really scary stories and he's like a really good narrator or something
Yeah,
or other.
yeah.
And I think if I remember correctly, he also like did like a side gig where he like produced haunted houses or something like that.
Okay.
This is my mental bookmark to talk about the Junji Ito anime after you're done, after you're done telling the story.
All right, we can talk about that afterwards. But yeah, we went to Tokyo Dome, and because there's like a whole kind of like amusement park there, and we'd never really. I heard that there was a lot of things to do at Tokyo Dome, but I never had gone there to explore everything there is to do around there. The only thing I know about it is that it was one of the places that that guy took Chizuru in Rent a Girlfriend, and I was just like, that's all I knew about it. So all I knew about it was the Ferris
Oh my
wheel.
God, you're
and-
one of those people.
yes, okay, Joey, I'm
fuck's
one of
sake.
those people. Okay.
Oh, I know this place. It was an anime.
It was in Rent a Girlfriend. Oh my god,
It's just like real life.
Yeah, but they had recently opened a haunted house experience there, and I don't know. Are you guys like kind of haunted house
I did
guys?
a video recently where I went to
Yeah,
one in,
one of the biggest
Fujikyu.
ones, right?
Yeah, I think it's I can't remember because I was like, it's the biggest, and they were like, actually, it's the second biggest. Please don't say that in the video. I think it's like the second biggest one in Japan, and it was like
Right.
a 40-50 minute long
Oh shit!
haunted house.
Fucking hell.
Yeah,
And
mine
it
one was like
3 floors of a hospital.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus. Okay,
Yeah,
I got to
I-
take Sydney there because
Dude, this
mine
one
was
is good.
this one I went to in Tokyo Dome was only about like 10-15 minutes, and it was I'm not really like okay. I'm gonna say outright. I'm a fucking pussy.
Oh,
okay,
to join the club.
I just hate the feeling of being scared, and I've never understood.
Talk to the choir.
I've never understood people who just love horror movies. They just go to horror movies. They love being scared.
Yeah.
I feel like there's like two feelings. I love the feeling of being unsettled. You know, like that's why I love Junji Ito works. But I hate the feeling of just feeling jump scared or like someone's going to kill me.
Yeah.
You know, I love ideas that make my mind unsettled, but I hate just the fight or flight
direct
reaction.
feeling, right?
Yeah, just the
Yeah.
direct
Yeah.
horror feeling.
Yeah.
And that's basically everything I experience in a haunted house. I was that guy who would hate going to any haunted house. The only reason I went to this one was because it was Sydney's birthday. I was trying to be a
Now
good
that's a
husband.
good husband right
Under
there.
any other circumstance, I ain't going into this shit. And
So paint the scene. Like what kind of like theme was it?
Yeah, how do they scare
okay,
you?
so it was kind of like The Grudge kind of thing. So they had did yours have like an entire storyline as well?
I think it did.
Okay, so this was
Did he listen to it? Probably
I skipped
not.
the cutscene. Yeah.
I'll be honest, I kind of like wasn't paying too much attention to the cutscene myself, but the kind of the basic premise was there was this divorced couple, and the guy cheated on the girl. Okay. And obviously the girl was mad. So I believe that even though the guy cheated on the girl, he worked with his side hoe to just murder the bitch. And
He came back.
and buried them. And they did a 5 IQ move. They buried them underneath a kotatsu. And I don't know why you would bury the girl in your own fucking room.
5. It's like negative 20.
I know Japanese houses have like small backyards, but I'm pretty sure it's still big enough to bury a body.
Yeah, right. And so obviously they got cursed, and they
Wow.
Yeah. Obviously,
What a shocker.
They got cursed, and to remove the curse, I believe the girl that he cheated on with, no matter what she did, she had half her face was like burnt off with a curse or something like that, and you had to apply makeup to the girl to remove her curse, and that was setting the scene. That was the that was kind of like the final objective.
Like crayon, you gotta like what do you gotta do this?
Collect the mascara.
Yeah. So you have to there was some makeup, and you had to puff the girl's face with makeup to remove the curse.
Gorgeous.
Oh, you look good. You look good. So yeah, that was the basic premise of the haunted house. I've never done a Japanese haunted house experience before because my experience with haunted houses were kind of just in America or the UK. You kind of either sit on a cart or you kind of just walk through, and it's not really any storyline. It's just kind of here are some jump scares. Here's a bat that flies out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know. So I did enjoy the fact that there was this entire narrative that they kind of took you through from the beginning of you saw the entire murder kind of take place. You saw them hide the body, and then kind of the entire process of the girl coming out, haunting them, and then also kind of killing them. And so the entire house becomes slowly more and more haunted as it goes along. What I did like about it was that there weren't too many jump scares. There was 2 jump scares out in the entire thing, and it was the entire floor was just booked out, and every room had a different piece of the storyline. And halfway through, you find the girl, which is obviously just a mannequin of the girl, and you have to pamper her face with the makeup. And I was just I've seen this movie before. Sydney, you do it. You do it, Sydney. I'm gonna die if I do it.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna be that dude that dies. I ain't going near that face.
Yeah.
I was expecting the biggest kind of jump scare when you touch her face. I think that was a fake out, because actually I don't want to spoil too much, I guess, but actually that wasn't where the jump scare was, because I was shitting myself, being I was when Sydney touches the face, something's gonna fucking happen. Something's gonna
loud
fucking
noise
happen.
or something.
Loud noise, something, but nothing. And because there wasn't a jump scare, I don't know if that was worse or better. Because when you expect a jump scare and it doesn't happen, that's it. There's a part of your emotion that's just something's off here. It's gonna come later. But one thing I noticed is that everyone working in this haunted house just was so friendly and had the biggest smile on their faces. And I could kind of see why afterwards, because of the biggest jump scare. So most of this haunted house was made with animatronics, right? Most of the characters and the ghosts were just different animatronics, and it was
yeah, it's kind of not that scary.
It's kind of janky. Yeah. I mean, I should have known when I saw the ride, and it was anyone 6 and over can come into this haunted house. And I was if it's suitable for a 6-year-old, how bad could it be? But there was one moment where it did involve, I guess, a real person. Okay. Right? And I guess this person's job was just to come out of this one point of the haunted house and just scare the shit out of people. And I'm honestly, that sounds like a really fun fucking job. Yeah. Right?
You're basically just Sully from Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
That's literally like your like.
Fill up the scare tag.
Someone watched that movie was like, damn, that doesn't sound like
That
a
was
bad
fun.
job.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so like right at the end, you're presented with like this big statue, and it's like, oh, it's just another janky animatronic. Then out of fucking nowhere appears the only human or ghostly thing that you've seen this entire thing, and it scared the shit out of me because I wasn't expecting a real like human being. Luckily, like they didn't touch you or they didn't grab you or anything, because I swear to God I would have punched.
I don't think they grab you.
I think my survival instincts when it comes to it,
I think for everyone's safety they don't touch you.
I would have
they
like
just get close to you.
Yeah, they got pretty close.
But that's what I like about like, especially like Japanese horror, right? It's because it's like, it's that whole thing of like, you know, not expecting the unexpected, right? Of the whole thing of like, oh, they set it up to be like, there's a jump scare coming up in this particular scene, get ready for it, and then they don't give it to you.
Yeah.
And then what that leaves you with is this like unsettling feeling of just being on the edge of your seat the entire time, being like, well, fuck, if it's not on the obvious spot, then where the fuck is it? Yeah. Right? And I think that's why, like, as much as I don't like horror movies or like horror games and stuff like that, I fuck with a lot of like Japanese horror, like movies, because they're so good at that. Like that building, that's just like the original Ring movie. You seen that one? Yeah. Yeah. Like there's the one scene where they just like, there's this music building up and it's like slowly zooming in and like, you know, horror movie trope. Yeah. There's going to be a jump scare at the end of it. Yeah. But then there's nothing. And so what that does is that it leaves you hanging and just goes, well, fuck. Now I don't know where the jump scare is, and I'm afraid the entire time, even through scenes where they're just casually talking. Yeah. Right. And I feel like, you know, that's what you kind of experienced in that Japanese haunted house. Because I was kind of the same. Like, I've been to like I was dragged into 1 or 2 haunted houses in Australia. Yeah. And it's like, here comes a zombie. Oh, here comes another thing. Oh, here comes something popping out of the closet. Blah, 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 right? It's like, all right.
They're normally like on the back of trucks.
What? Right.
Well, they're like the carnival things that are folded out. Oh. So they're like, I don't know how they make it, but like they're like really quick. It's like 6 dudes just shout at you. I could, you know, and I could have just gone home and got that. So
right. You know, you can get that here.
But the one in Fuji-Q is really good. I think it's like,
that's the scariest one, right?
It was insane.
Yeah.
Like I had never been to a haunted house where I thought like every single detail was kind of off the charts.
Is that the one where it's like every 5 minutes there's an emergency exit in case people want to leave?
Yeah, every 5 minutes there's an emergency leaving exit.
Yeah. Were you scared going through it?
I mean, like the jump scares are kind of scary. I was definitely hamming it up for the camera. Of course I'd have to say that. But like, I you know, it's a kind of a boring video if I'm just like kind of casually going through it. I'm like, all right, this is cool. I mean, like you know, there's only like a few ways they can really scare you. I was more like, I was just super impressed with like the detail and also how kind of fucked up it got. Like there's rooms with like dead babies, like torn open, and like bodies like full fucked up.
Hell.
Like, it's
damn.
Did Kojima produce this?
It's no joke. You go into this one room because it's like an abandoned hall. I think the story. I said I didn't listen to it because it was in Japanese, and also I was trying to mess with the camera ISO to get it to work. Yeah. And also we weren't allowed to film the story. But I mean, you know, the story generally was like some people went to this hospital, it was abandoned, and they went to go see it, and then they got lost in there, and now you're going in again. And like, dude, it was like, I imagine if you like haunted houses, this is probably like the apex of a haunted house. Like this was, like imagine it, like a whole hospital, they just built this building, and every single room was insanely well like themed and built. Even like the office rooms were terrifying. Yeah. And I was like, holy fuck, the dust is off the charts. I'm going to contract something. But like, it was crazy. I mean, if Sydney liked the one in Tokyo, I'm sure she'd love the one in Fuji-Q. Yeah. But you do have to book it, I think, separate from your ticket and in advance. Right. Which is kind of annoying because it's like you get the ticket and then you have to pay another $16 to go into this just a haunted house.
But you said it's like, what, like an hour experience, right?
If you're fast, I imagine it can be like 20, 30, but if you're taking a sweet time, I imagine it's like 40.
Better than most theme park rides.
I'd rather take my sweet time, especially in a haunted house experience, because I mean, like,
if you see my video, it's crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to. I mean, I wouldn't love to, but I'm sure Sydney would. I don't know why she loves horror movies so fucking much.
I swear she's watching a new horror movie every day.
She is.
I don't know. She's like dog shit though. She watches like straight to not even DVD, like straight to like Ouya, like
straight to VHS.
Like I don't know. Straight to the garbage movie.
I don't know how she finds so many horror movies. I didn't even know there were this many horror movies being made, but
at this point she should just like start a series where she reviews shit horror movies. Like she's probably seen so many now.
Yeah, but apparently in America it's like a big, like fucking massive thing. Even like a lot of like low budget ones that are being made. There's an entire streaming service dedicated to just horror movies. I'm like,
okay, like what's the we in the past like 10 years, how many good horror movies have we had? Like 2, right? Like we've had like
what's good ones? Define. Okay, here's the thing. I genuinely don't know how I would define a good horror movie.
I also don't watch horror, so this is coming from a guy who doesn't watch horror movie, judging the very seemingly the last best.
Yeah.
What was the one that came out that was really fucking good like 5-6 years ago? That had like a really good budget. Fuck, I forgot what it's called. All I think about are the video games now.
I personally liked Hereditary.
That was the one. Hereditary.
Yeah.
That was really good. That came out.
Yeah, I hated that. That fucked me up.
Yeah, dude, it fucked me up.
Right? Like,
yeah.
It fucked me up, but at least what I appreciate about Hereditary and just Ari Aster films in general, and like also Midsommar as well, was like an awesome fucking movie.
I watched that. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, I watched Midsommar.
But it's like, I liked it because it's like, yes, it's scary, but it's also just fucking weird.
Yeah.
And it's like a trip of a movie.
Yeah.
And it's like the way that like they scare in those movies especially, it's like, I love that he doesn't rely on jump scares. Like in Hereditary, maybe there's like 2 jump scares at most that I can remember, but like those aren't the scariest moments of the movie. Like the scariest moments are the really quiet moments of the movie.
I couldn't finish that movie actually.
Really?
I finished.
It's probably better because the last 10 minutes were fucking weird.
Yeah, I finished Midsommar. That was still like unnerving and like scary. But you know, it didn't fuck me up. I remember there was this one scene in Hereditary. It happened like pretty early on, but yeah. I mean, without spoiling exactly what happens, there was a scene involving a mother that was just screaming and crying.
Oh yeah.
That was like such a guttural scream. It kind of like induced in me PTSD that I guess I didn't even know I had, because I've never experienced what the mother has gone.
Gacha roll.
But it was like it was to the point where I was like, this is like too well acted.
Yeah.
Where I feel like
she was so good in that.
Yeah,
as
she
well.
was so good. She was so good that I couldn't finish it because I was like, this is getting to a point of real, to the point where I'm like, I feel like I'm seeing something I shouldn't be seeing now.
Tony Collette, I think it was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tony Collette,
I have no memory of anything ever. Bird Box, great horror movie. Did you watch that one?
Bird Box? Which one?
Remember
was
when
that
everyone did the Bird Box?
Is that
challenge?
the one where they're all blinded?
Yeah. You remember this movie?
I never watched it. I saw the memes of it. Yeah.
my God.
What is that movie about?
So, dude,
because I saw the memes of like everyone blindfolded.
Because it was crazy. Because it's just like blue. I can't even fucking bring this fucking movie out. But this was like a fucking big horror film.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
No, I didn't watch it.
Oh my God. It was this. Okay. Again, this is like a 4-year-old memory of me explaining a movie that
Okay.
I didn't really like that much. So like there was just a monster that came. I can't remember why. And it would only kill you if you like looked at it.
Oh. Okay. So it's the opposite of the Weeping Angels.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And then like, I guess throughout the movie, obviously people look at it and I guess people go crazy and they're like, I have to look at it. And then all I have in memory now is like, okay, one, it was terrible. It wasn't that good. And everyone doing the stupid Bird Box challenge afterwards, which is people just walking around blindfolded, which is just like, okay, you mean being blind is a challenge now? Like, okay, all right, okay.
If blind people could see this, they'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And then I remember there was another thing where like, so in the movie, you never see the thing that's killing everyone. You never see it.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I don't know if it was like a joke or what. They were like, "Hey, this is what it was actually going to look like," and it looked like ass. It was like the shittiest looking thing.
There's another movie with a similar premise where like the thing that's killing everyone, can't be seen.
Yeah.
Do you guys watch The Happening?
No.
Wait, what's that one?
It's the fucking movie where it's like, who was in that movie again? I think it was Mark Wahlberg. I think was in that.
Was
movie.
that the M. Night Shyamalan movie?
I was it? I don't remember if it was M. Night Shyamalan, but like I only watched like the first third of that movie because it was so shit. But basically, the general premise from what I can remember is like there's this thing called.
This is gonna be the next 40 minutes is 3 dudes who don't watch horror. Horror sucks.
Yeah, it's like this movie where like Mark Wahlberg is like people are just like mysteriously dying from this phenomena that no one can see, and they call it the happening. And they're just like, all these people are dying. What's happening? And then Mark Wahlberg fucking runs around trying to figure it out. And again, I don't know how it ends. I watched the first third. Yeah, it was like mean to shit because it was so bad. But
I remember this one. Yeah. I haven't actually seen it. I know the entire plot of that film just from people complaining about it. Actually,
have you seen Unfriended?
Yes, I have seen Unfriended.
What's that one again?
Unfriended is where there's like, I can't remember if it's Zoom or if it's before Zoom.
It's on
okay.
Yes.
The Skype ghost.
Yeah. Skype. And like, who is it on the call? Who is that? It's so bad. It's like everything that I think is like it's like the opposite of everything British.
Yeah. And it's just like a ghost killing people on Skype. And it's just like, can they hang up? No, you cannot hang up your Skype call for some reason. And they just all die one by one. Okay, out of the horror movies that I've seen with Sydney, I'm going to try and recommend some good ones, I think.
Go on.
But again, I don't know what counts as a good horror movie. But these are ones that I found was interesting. So one that I found pretty interesting pretty recently. I don't even know if it counts as a horror movie. It's more like a horror satire. It's called The Menu.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that one?
I have, yeah. It's pretty good.
What is it?
So
Ralph, no, not Ralph Fiennes. What the fuck is it? Ralph Fiennes?
The director?
No, the main actor, the British guy.
I can't remember.
The one featuring the girl from Queen's Gambit.
Yeah,
right?
the girl from Queen's Gambit.
Okay.
That's the one. So
I love how we collectively know that.
yeah, so basically
it's Ralph Fiennes, right? Am I crazy?
Yeah.
Can we Google Ralph?
Yeah.
Okay, thank God. He's the GOAT.
So basically, it's kind of like a horror satire of the whole fine dining kind of culture. It's basically like what Maylin...
Royale.
Yeah, it's basically Battle Royale, but like in a setting of what Maylin sees in her mind's eye.
Yeah, genuinely. Yeah.
What, our Google reviewers trying to kill each other? Like,
yeah.
POV, imagine if you saw the world the way Maylin saw the world.
Yeah. That's what it is, right? And so the main character gets invited to this prestigious, one-of-a-kind fine dining restaurant that's set on an island, and it's just like the most prestigious menu that's ever going to be served. And weird shit starts happening.
Okay.
They like, you know how, it's fine dining is basically just the art world, but with food. So it kind of goes beyond just serving good food. It's all about the story of the food. And so, and at first the chef comes out and he presents each dish that has a different story behind it. And then the story just progressively gets more and more fucked up until you kind of slowly realize what's really going on behind the scenes here. And I'm not going to spoil what goes on behind the scenes, but let's just say
the reviews are very good as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's actually a genuinely good story. And I think this is what I think is my personal way and the best way to experience horror movies for me is to not watch horror movies, but to watch YouTube summary of horror movies. I'm that guy.
Well, to be fair, I think I watched Unfriended the same way the first time. I watched it through YouTube videos and I thought there's no way it's as shit as they make it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched all the Saw movies just from all those videos of like, what's the possibility of escaping the Saw trap?
Okay.
Saw is so bad.
Before people clown on me, let me sell it to you, okay? I get to experience the horror movie because one of the things I think is very interesting about horror movies is the mystery aspect.
Yes.
Okay. Every horror movie, I love horror movies, even the shitter ones, they have like really interesting concepts that kind of like draw you into like what's scary going on behind the scenes, so what fucked up thing is this horror movie about? And 90% of them it's a dumb twist, or like once you uncover the mystery, it's a dumb mystery, and you're like, fuck, I just spent an hour and a half for a really stupid reveal. So like the best way for me to reveal to consume it is just to watch YouTube summaries, which means I don't have to be scared and I get presented with a lot of interesting ideas from all these different horror movies, and I don't have to wait an hour and a half to kind of like fully realize if the reveal is worth it.
You might as well just fucking read the Wikipedia at that point.
You know what? Maybe I will, Joey. Maybe I will.
Like you just should read the Wikipedia.
Just go to the IMDb page, watch the trailer while reading the synopsis. There you go, you're done.
I don't know why. It's specific horror movies why I just love watching summaries of them.
That fucked up. Not to do a throwback to the hentai app, but that hospital hentai was the horrorest thing I've watched in years. That scared me to my core.
That was scary, yeah.
More than anything else.
Definitely.
But a genuine horror movie that I did enjoy, that is a horror movie, is, I believe the name is As Above, Down
As
Below.
Above, So Below.
As Above, So Below. Something along those lines.
The one in the French catacombs.
The one
right?
in the French catacombs.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's very like Blair Witch.
Is it like people get lost in the catacombs and then something stuff? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just figured
Just
it out.
think Blair Witch, but in the French catacombs.
Yeah.
Okay.
They get lost in the catacombs, but things start happening, and they find out weird things. And there is a reason why all of these things happen, which is what I liked about it. Is it was less about the jump scares, but it was more about the unnerving ideas of what they found in the catacombs. You know, and that's why I liked it.
French people.
They see a half-eaten baguette on the ground. It's like, there's a perfectly good baguette. Who would waste it?
Well, there is nothing more terrifying
Our French people.
Sacre bleu.
than finding French people underground. Honestly, I would. I would just off myself at that point. You know, just being stuck underground with French people. Okay, I'm done.
Oh man, I'm trying to think.
Do you like Paranormal Activity?
No. I watched the first Paranormal Activity on a plane.
You know that's the best one, right?
The first one?
Out of like the 7, that's the best one.
I guess so. Like I fell asleep.
Sydney watched all 7.
Yes.
I fell asleep in like 20 minutes.
You should watch some of the other ones.
Why?
They're very funny.
Oh, really?
They're really funny.
Like, look, I get the whole thing of like, oh, it was, it was a really low budget film and Steven Spielberg liked it, so he greenlit it and blah, blah, blah. But like, I'm just like, bro, like, Live Leak is scarier than this shit. Like, it's just fucking...
Well, yeah, just fucking real.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I think the problem with Paranormal Activity was that, like, it was trying to sell you on, like, the realistic aspect. But it's like, okay, I get it, using the security camera footage and all that kind of shit. But it's like, if I know it's a movie... then it's just like immediately less scary. Yeah,
the scariest thing about like the Blair Witch was, back in the day before the internet, there was, there were rumors around that this wasn't actually a movie, but it was actually just real found footage.
Yeah.
And I feel like having that mystique to it, that's what made it scary. Because if you actually watch the Blair Witch knowing that it's a film, I think it's a lot less scary knowing that, this is a film that was produced and filmed and scripted rather than, oh my God, we just found like a tape and we don't know what it is, And
we're going to put it in the cinemas anyway.
I feel like that you know what?
Don't give it to the police.
Look, we were a lot dumber back then, okay? A lot of the mystique has gone thanks to the internet now. But you might not remember this, but when growing up before the age of the internet, things like this could exist. Like I remember, what was it, like Cannibal Holocaust or something?
Oh, yeah.
Like didn't like the director of that get arrested because people actually thought
it was real.
It was actually fucking real.
Yeah.
And I'd heard that there were some horrendous things happening on set of that film anyway, but it wasn't a snuff film.
Yeah, exactly.
Thankfully enough.
I would actually say that like as much as I don't like horror films, B-grade horror films are so fucking fun to watch because it's like immediately just from the scuffed nature of it, it just becomes more satirical and actually in a lot of ways just really entertaining and funny. The best B-grade horror film I ever watched was, do you know this movie called Dead Sushi?
No.
No, what is that?
So it was made by this guy called Takashi Miike, who is like the most like
infamous.
infamous.
Takashi Miike, okay.
He's like the most infamous Japanese director. But it's one of his. He made like a fuckload of B-grade horror films, but it's
a lot of them pretty fucked up as
and
well.
a lot of them are fucked up.
Yeah.
I think he actually used to like direct porn before he did that, which is hilarious. But like that's one of the ones that Aki showed me. It's essentially just this like story of, I'm trying to remember it because it's been a while, but it's essentially like there's this like female lead who is goes to like a sushi establishment because she wants to like learn the craft of like making sushi and stuff like that. And I think something along the lines of like some like radioactive waste spills onto some sushi, and then the sushi come alive and start killing people.
So Sausage Party, but Japanese.
Yeah, basically. And it's basically these sushi, but like they grow teeth and shit, and they just like and they just fucking fly through the air and kill people. It's so jank, but it's so hilarious and entertaining. And like there's a couple of scenes where it's like genuinely unnerving because it's a Miike film, right? Like he gets really gory with his films. I think he was the one that made what is it, Audition? That like really fucked up like snuff like film. Yeah,
that was probably his most famous one.
Yeah, that's his most famous one. But like it's not as bad as that one. But yeah, he basically was just like, what would happen if sushi came back to
and then he also made Audition
and killed and then I'll make Audition as well, which is one of the most fucked up films ever made.
I feel like we were talking about this. I unlocked a core memory. I was like, I remember I talked to Sydney about horror film, and I think me and your editor Alan had watched a horror movie together on Netflix, and we both thought it was like really fucking stupid and funny. And then Sydney was talking about it like a month later. I was like, yeah, it's actually this is one of my favorite horror films of all time. It's amazing. And I just, it tells him, and I was like, oh, we watched that differently. It was called Cam. It's like it's a horror film, came out on Netflix 5 years ago. And it was about like a cam girl, but I think the cam girl goes like, I can't remember exactly.
Oh, I remember her talking about
like
this.
The cam girl goes live and she's seeing herself go live as the cam girl.
Yeah.
And I can't remember.
Every e-girl's worst nightmare.
Honestly, I remember her talking about this, and I'm just like, this sounds like a pretty interesting concept, especially in this day and age where I think, so what, as Connor said, there's a cam girl that, makes money doing cam girl stuff, but then like she wakes up one day and she just sees herself in a live stream. Live broadcasting.
I don't know if it's this one. I'm reading the plot and I'm like, what the fuck?
It's probably this one, right?
It is that one. Yeah. That's crazy. Look at the difference between the IMDb and the Rotten Tomatoes.
IMDb 5.9 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 93%.
Oh, that's I can see which camp Sydney's in then. She's in the Rotten Tomatoes camp.
I just thought that like I watched it and I remember thinking like, I feel like it's kind of a cool idea, but also I remember the acting was like really bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, man. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's bad, but it was just like,
I don't know. That's definitely the killer for me with a lot of horror films, where it's like I hear a lot of synopsis for a lot of horror films, and I'm like, that's an interesting premise.
Yeah.
But the problem is, at least most of the ones I've seen,
the execution is
just so fucked. Like it's like the acting is, and again, like that's why like Hereditary was so scary, because Toni Collette was such a good actress in that.
Do you know how you can get around that? YouTube summaries, baby.
Wait, actually, unlocking another memory. You know what movie I watched that I thought was actually pretty good, or like it was kind of funnily good? The Invisible Man. Have you seen this one?
Oh yeah.
That's pretty good.
I've heard of that one.
He literally just terrorizes people with it.
It's like YouTube prank gone wrong times 100.
It's actually good, right? It was good. It was good. I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think I remember I liked it and I thought that it was good. Like I'm trying to remember if I liked it.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was good. It
was like actually intense.
Yeah. Because the whole point of the tension, right? So let me frame the film from the beginning, okay? So this girl, I believe, dated like a super, super smart guy, right? And she breaks up with him, and I believe that the breakup didn't go well, but for one reason or another, she's really, really scared of this person, right? And then weird things start happening in her life, and it's to the point where she thinks that either like a ghost is fucking with her or someone else is fucking with her life, to the point where her life just spirals downwards, and she is convinced that her ex has something to do with it. And people are like, no, you're fucking crazy. You're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And we don't know what is really going on behind the scenes until it gets revealed.
Right.
And that's spoiler territory.
The name of the movie gives it away.
Yeah, I feel,
It's called The Invisible Man.
Yeah.
Is it actually?
Yeah, it's called The Invisible Man.
Perhaps the one. The culprit is in the title.
But I felt like the way that, like, why that movie was good, at least from my memory, again, this is years ago, was that it was like, it felt helpless.
Yeah.
Because this guy's so OP.
Yeah. Because,
like that.
oh no, I just remembered why it was called that. because her ex is dead.
Oh,
this is why.
I gotta watch that movie again.
I'm hearing it out of context. I'm like, what?
You know what was a great horror film?
What?
Ford and Ferrari. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
What a great movie.
But again, like that also like further proves my point of why like a lot of Japanese horror is good is because it's like again that idea of helplessness.
Yeah.
Right? Like in like The Grudge and like The Ring and like One Missed Call is a fucking terrifying film. The Japanese one. The American one is shit. They like completely botched that one. But the Japanese one is like genuinely terrifying. And it's because of this idea of like the unknown, right? It's like, I don't know what the fuck is terrorizing my life and killing me and killing all of my friends. But I'm going to get to the bottom of it and then fuck around and find out.
What about if like somebody was an invisible man and all they did was cut your nails perfectly every single night in your sleep? And you wake up and the nails
like
on the bed. Like you know they're there every night.
Have you ever had that feeling? Have you ever had that feeling where it's just like, I don't know, something you wake up one day and just something in your room or something is just off and you don't know if you just have shit memory or if like something is happening.
Or your partner is terrorizing your bedroom.
Yeah, I mean, I'm currently in that phase again where I'm falling asleep to listening to like cave stories. I don't know why. Because it's been a few months, so they've made more videos. There's people who talk about it. And every time I go to bed now and I'm listening to that, like someone dying in a cave, I'm like, did I lock the door? Hopefully I locked the door.
Why are you listening to that before you go to bed?
I don't know. It's like these guys, because all the horror channels, like credit where credit's due, they're so monotone.
Right.
Like, they're never like hyped up about, like they're not like fucking YouTubers.
Yeah.
Right,
like, you will not believe what happened in this cave. It's always like, in this cave on January 14, 1967, 2 kids went in and 1 guy came out. This is the story about the deadly cave, known as the Flucky Wucky Cave.
Flucky Wucky Cave.
I'll tell you what I've been listening while falling to sleep recently. It's I've been listening to, I guess, science and
I do that too
physics
sometimes.
videos.
I do that all the time.
And this is going to sound so bad, right? This is going to sound so bad because there's this one YouTube channel. I think it's called History of the Universe. Where he breaks down some like concepts to do with physics and puts like a really, really interesting story into it and gives like really interesting metaphors and basically goes through the entire history about how this discovery was made and how we came to discover, let's say, our perception of how time works. Can we time travel backwards and forwards? He basically goes through everything and it's super, super interesting because a lot of the
Like
time
the summoning salt of physics.
yeah, it's kind of like something. You actually said it perfectly. It's like basically the summoning salt of physics because I've heard a lot of
Pythagoras got a gold split.
because a lot of stuff.
And then Kepler came in.
And so we're gonna clip through time right now. We're gonna go through the 4th dimension.
And then Matt Turk turned up.
Because a lot of the stuff that he talks about, I already know because I'm super interested into this stuff anyway. But the way he portrays the information is just super, super interesting. And for some reason, helps me get to sleep like that. I discovered him when we were touring America. And for some reason, whenever I put a video on, and all of his videos are like at least 50 minutes minimum, right? And 50. So it's like 50.
It really is a summoning salt of physics.
Literally the summoning salt of physics, right? And I just like, for some reason, his voice is so calming that I get invested in his story. And then about 20 minutes in, I'm just like conked out. I wake up, this entire playlist is just done, right? And so
every turn up knowing 1/5 of the physics class.
So every time he releases a new video, it takes me about 3 weeks to get through it because I'm like, I
keep falling asleep.
Because I keep falling asleep. I'm like, shit. This was I want to know how this video ends. I need to see the entire video because it's a super interesting story. I get invested, and then even though I'm invested, I fall asleep. So I'm like, this is a night. This is a night.
Yeah,
through the video.
I've had that so often with like falling asleep to like Veritasium videos or like Kurzgesagt videos, and it's just like it's the tone at which they talk at, and the kind of slow pacing in nature, and like it's obviously just like the lack of like fucking YouTube sound effects and shit like that, right? Where it's like, oh, this is just like it's nice. It's like someone's just talking to me and just putting me to sleep. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know what it is. Something about hearing people talk about just like physics concepts is just like
it's because there's no volume change.
Yeah.
No,
if you watch one of my videos, it's just like, bro, it looks like a fucking seismograph.
Yeah.
you can't tell anything.
Sure. This episode is sponsored by Vessi. Have you guys ever seen a single photo of me, Connor, and Garnt recently? Then you've probably seen us rocking a sick pair of Vessi shoes.
There is nothing that Vessis cannot solve. We travel to Thailand, Vessis. We travel to Hawaii, Vessis. Anywhere we go, we wear our Vessis.
We simp for Vessis way too hard.
We do, because they are 100% waterproof, great for the unpredictable spring weather, and Vessis will have your feet dry in the wettest of weather, comfortable and stylish sneakers that you can wear every single day.
Not to mention, they're made from Dymatex, a dual climate knit material that keeps you cool in the summer and warm in colder weather. It doesn't feel like it should be waterproof, but it is.
And they are comfortable, durable, and breathable. No matter what the situation, no matter where we go, we always wear our Vessis because we know we're going to get a good pair of shoes.
There's also an added lugged rubber outsole for extra grip in slippery wet conditions, and an added material layer for extra warmth in the cold.
So you can check out the Vessis and other styles at vessi.com/trashtaste. Get your Vessi sneaker and size you want now, and use code TRASHTASTE for 15% off your entire order. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Joey, your 30s is coming up, man.
Dude, don't say that.
And a lot of things must be going through your mind right now.
Oh, tell me about it, man. It's terrifying, honestly.
You know, a lot of us can feel that maybe our lives are changing really fast and we've lost track of who we are. And that's why at one point, I actually turned to talk therapy. Like me, the boys, we're all complicated people, and talk therapy can help you deepen your understanding about yourselves.
And that's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are.
In my experience, a lot of people found the idea of talk therapy rather daunting, especially guys. But sometimes just having a space where you can talk freely with someone will give you a different perspective.
And that's the great thing about BetterHelp. It removes that daunting barrier and just makes it really accessible for anyone who wants to get into it.
BetterHelp is entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge.
And I want to reiterate from myself and the boys that this isn't meant to be a solution to all the problems in your life. It's just meant to help you find the best person that you are.
So discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/trash today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/trash.
Back to the episode. But yeah, Junji Ito, that anime, did you guys watch it?
I haven't. I've watched some of it.
Any episodes?
I've watched a few episodes, yes.
Which ones did you watch?
I think the first couple of ones.
I watched all of them.
Why?
Holy shit.
When I was getting ready for the cyclothon, I was like, what's something that I can kind of like stop watching at any point and not feel like I need to like because like some shows, it's like I hate it if I have to stop it halfway.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, man, I just want to
keep watching it.
I just want to keep watching, or I want to, if I stop where I am right now, I'm going to have to backtrack like 5 minutes to remember where I was.
Yeah.
Whereas normally the episodes end and they normally kind of
Episodic, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know. So I was just watching it and I was like, holy shit, none of these are good.
Yeah, can we just appreciate this moment where the boys have watched something that I haven't watched? But I guess the reason
because you're fucking smart.
Yeah, you're probably better off.
You're too busy watching 19 isekais.
So the reason I haven't watched it is because I believe this is another adaptation that's different from the Junji Ito collection that aired like 5 years ago.
Is this also called the Junji Ito collection?
I believe.
No. It's called the Tales of the Macabre.
Tales of the Macabre.
On Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. So.
And like nobody fucking said anything about this.
Yeah.
It wasn't in any of your videos.
It wasn't.
That's why I normally find out about what's going on in anime is watching your videos. And so like I remember, I think we were at Sumo and Felix just goes, "Oh, have you been watching this new Junji Ito thing?" Right. And I was like, "What the fuck? This is a new Junji?"
Yeah, I didn't even know. Felix was the one that told me.
Yeah, and no one's speaking about it. He's like, "Yeah, I just saw it on Netflix." Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I watched it and I was like,
why no one's speaking about it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, it's so bad.
Yeah.
I think, and I don't say this lightly, I have never seen, it's been years since I've watched an anime this bad.
Yeah.
It is so dog shit.
Yeah. This just further proves this and the Junji Ito collection, which I sat through the entirety of because I hate myself. Like, just like solid evidence. You cannot adapt Junji Ito stuff.
Like, yeah, I think Junji Ito is unadaptable.
Yeah. Have you read any of his manga?
No.
Do yourself a favor. Like, that'll be a nice eye cleanse.
Watching this, I feel like how, like, seeing the stories portrayed in that light I don't think I can ever see them as funny ever again.
Scary.
Not scary, because to me, 70% of them were funny. The other 30% were just boring.
Yeah.
Like, they open up with this, holy shit, this most god-awful episode of anime I've ever watched in my life. You watched the first episode, right?
Yes.
The one with like the Addams family, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, that's...
Imagine the Addams family.
That's a weak story in the manga.
Yeah,
that's
but like
a shit
5
story.
times less fun.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they put that as the first episode.
Yeah.
So like everyone who's watching this has to sit through this garbage episode.
Well, they did that with the Junji Ito collection as well. They opened up with like the kid who like curses everyone.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, this is a shit story. Like, why would you open up with this?
So then you open up this anime, right? And holy fuck, you get greeted with the intro song. It's like they were paying someone to miss, because the opening song is a fucking like screamo metal song.
Yeah.
How is that horror? How does that at all get me in the mood for horror? Like, all of Junji Ito's things, like, climactic, kind of like slow build,
Like quiet, right? Yeah.
And it's like you have like this guy. It's like, oh no, we're gonna visit my family grave, and then he goes, get ready for the anime, yeah. And then you just start the stupid Addams Family shit, and it's not even remotely scary. It's just fucking weird. And they're like, I don't know.
As a song, it's fine, but just don't. It was the worst mix and match.
It makes no fucking sense. And then like, I was waiting for the iconic episodes, or like the iconic stories.
Yeah, so one of the most iconic episodes, which you told me off camera, was the one with the balloon heads.
That shit was so funny.
And that is like normally looked at as one of his, that's a fan favorite story.
Yeah.
One of the short stories that people very much like and very much portrays the Junji Ito style. And I remember telling that to Connor. He was like, I found it fucking hilarious.
Bro, because in the show, they're like, well, honey, it looks like everybody outside is being turned into balloons. And he's like, well, I'm off to work. And he just dies right away. He just walks outside and fucking dies, even though he just made an observation that there are murderous balloons outside.
That's what you have to understand about Junji Ito, though. Like, I think the person who takes Junji Ito stories the least serious is Junji Ito himself.
Which is why, like, I don't know if they just misunderstood what this shit was meant to be, because like, in the same fucking balloon thing, the whole twist at the end is like the main girl who we're following, right? So everyone outside for some reason has been turned into murderous balloons, and when you die, you also turn into a murderous balloon.
Yeah.
There is no more context. That is it.
Nope.
Yep.
And they like grab you by they have like nooses attached to the bottom of the balloons, and they just go and hang you.
Yeah.
I imagine it's terrifying in the manga. In the anime, it's fucking
It's
funny as fuck.
unsettling in the manga. Yeah.
It's like his stuff isn't terrifying.
Yeah.
It just is just unsettling.
Yeah.
And 99% of that is just to do with his art, because
Right.
his art is in fucking incredible, right? To the point where if you don't portray,
I've seen the art; it looks amazing.
yeah. His art just evokes. The best way I can describe it is that it just evokes emotions, right? And unless you translate those emotions, like his like singular pen scratches that he does, the way he shades everything, there is no way to translate this still like painting that he's basically made into like an animated form, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because a lot of his stories on paper are pretty ridiculous, because they're
all like really absurd,
Yeah.
which is why it was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Because then when it was funny, it was quite funny.
Yeah.
Like the ending of the balloon one, to spoil it if you care. There's like
It's like a 10-page short story.
yeah, this girl is like trapped in, because they. The geniuses of this world figured out if you just don't leave the house, you can't die.
Yeah.
And obviously you need to get food. Anyway, her like dead brother is like knocking on the window, being like, "Hey, I'm outside." She's like, "Oh shit, for real?" Opens the door. Obviously, it's a fucking dead body balloon, but how is the body even fucking talking? It's so fucking dumb. There was one story that I kind of liked the premise a lot, and they just kind of fucked it up right at the end.
Which one?
The Toontown one. Which sounds like Toontown, but in my British accent, it's Toontown.
Toontown.
As they called it. It's where when people die in this town, they immediately, like, you can't touch the bodies. They just turn into gravestones on the spot.
Oh, yes.
And it was kind of a really cool concept, because we agreed to this idea, and the main character runs over a girl.
Yeah.
And then he's with his sister, and he's like, "Oh my God, you should do something." He's like, "No, put her in the fucking trunk. We'll bury her." I'm like, oh, okay, geez. And then they go into this town and there's just fucking gravestones everywhere. And it's so fucked. It's so fucked. And then they go to this house to meet their friend, and it turns out the friend, they just run over her sister. And then they're like, oh, where's our sister? He's like, I don't know, right, sister? We don't know. And then eventually they throw her in the well, and it turns into this shitty CGI dragon that looks horrible, ass, and it's so fucking stupid. Oh, it's so dumb.
Every time like a new Junji Ito anime adaptation comes out, there's like 1% of my brain that's like, this is the one. This is the one that's going to change it. And every single fucking time, it's just gotten worse and worse. Like, I thought the Gyo movie was bad when I first watched that.
I was going to say, I think Gyo is the only decent
Junji Ito adaptation. After the Junji Ito collection and this new one, I think now it makes... those was so bad, it makes Gyo look like a masterpiece.
I'm going to defend Gyo, because it's not really known that it was...
So
it's one of the long stories by Junji.
It's one of the long stories got adapted into a movie.
Live action?
No. Animated by Studio Ufotable.
What?
Studio Ufotable animated a Junji Ito adaptation, and it's the best animated adaptation he's ever gotten, and probably ever will get. But I would say that the manga itself had some like incredible body horror, and that was like one of the standouts about it. You put that on in an animated form, and it's not scary.
It's fucking ridiculous.
I'm gonna say that it's not scary. But holy shit, it was so much fun.
It was so funny.
So the entire concept of Gyo is basically fish start invading land, right? And how do they invade land? There are sharks and fish, and they grow robot legs.
Yeah, they have mechanical legs underneath.
I think I've seen the stills of this.
Yeah. You've probably seen the still of like the shark with the mechanical legs entering the room.
Yeah,
that's a really famous shot.
Yeah. So they just invade the land, and I guess fish have decided to take the earth back because they are the ones who rule the earth now.
Yeah.
And it's just a whole movie about fish terrorizing people on land with mechanical legs. Some scientists try to do some wild experiments and it goes wrong.
Yeah. It always goes wrong.
And you know, it's just turn your brain off popcorn fun. I had a good fucking time watching that. It was like watching a bee.
I should have fucking watched that.
Yeah. Was it scary? No. Was it hilarious?
Actually,
yes.
There was one that was kind of scary. Well, a little bit. What's the one with the where they peel the skin off?
Oh, that one. I can't remember what that
was kind of called. That was kind of well
sounds
done.
Fucked, yeah.
Yeah, because like they find out from some. Of course, it's always an archaeological site where they move some body, and then it turns out that she just has like 26 layers of skin.
Yeah, and then she like ages or something. Like
it's like one for every age.
Yeah.
And then her mom is like fucking obsessed with her being like young again, so she starts tearing off her daughter's face.
Ugh. Yeah.
But it was really funny in the anime for like the first half, and then it actually got scary.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite stories of his as well. But again, a lot of his is just to do with his art and the way he sets the tone of his stories. Because like the balloon one, it's on paper, it's just ridiculous. And even like the skin one as well.
Oh my God, this keeps reminding me of the other fucking stories. One of the stories was like, hey, you probably watched this one too. It's where like, hey, my brother's making too much noise in the other room. So we're going to hire a carpenter to make my room soundproof.
Yeah.
And then the guy comes in, he's like, yeah, of course I can make it soundproof. So he builds 4 rooms inside of a room, and one of them is just a tiny ass cub. He's like, there you go, it's soundproof now. And then his brother just goes between the walls, just menacing him.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then he like lays like fucking oil and grease in it to trap him, and it's like, what the fuck is this? Like this? No, you know what takes the cake? Sorry, I'm running even another one. Go off.
Okay.
There's another story. All these sound fucking stupid. Yeah. When I explain them. Did you see the ice cream one?
No, I don't think so.
Have you seen this one? Yes. There's a story that opens up, and there's just a guy who drives an ice cream truck. And he's like, hey, kids in the neighborhood, who wants some ice cream?
Yeah.
And then the dad's like, no, I can't let him get ice cream. I can't let him go in the ice cream truck. And then like all the other kids are in the ice cream truck. He's like, fine, go in the ice cream truck. Kid goes in the ice cream truck. This fucking ice cream truck goes around the corner with like the worst goddamn CGI you've ever seen in your life. It was terrible. Anyway, so it comes out, and then kid comes back, and he's like kind of miserable, and he's like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to go to the ice cream truck again. So he goes in the ice cream truck again, and then the kid comes back and comes out with his friend. His friend starts turning into fucking ice cream, and then he starts licking his friend, and then it turns out that like everyone in this truck is just old kids that turned into ice cream, and then you turn into ice cream when you lick the kid ice cream, and then it was just like, what is this shit? And then when this dad's kid turns into an ice cream, he's like, no! It's just like, what is this shit?
I respect it. I respect it. Like, to the point where it's like, I feel this is just like Junji Ito's like personal challenge to like look at something in the real world. Like, he'll look at a chair and be like, I can make a horror story.
I like that he never tries to fucking explain his horror.
No, that's the good thing.
Yeah, the guy driving the ice cream truck. What's his deal? You'll never know.
Yeah, he knows it's fucking ridiculous. Yeah.
What was the other one? Tomiya, is that the famous one?
Tomiya was good though. Tomiya is really fucking good.
I thought it wasn't good in the show.
Really?
I didn't get it in the show.
You didn't get it?
I didn't get it.
What do you mean?
I didn't really so she was just like cursed, like her face or some shit. It was fucking weird.
Yeah. Well,
I was like, what's the point of this shit?
Well, trying to decipher the intricacies of a Junji Ito story is hard.
That's the thing. It's not about what it's about, because most of it is unexplained, and it's made that way because as soon as you explain something, it just becomes less scary, right?
Yeah. It's just open to interpretation.
I agree. As soon as you bring the answers, so like one of his most famous works is Uzumaki, which that was his thing, where I guess he tried to make something horrific around this really abstract concept. Spirals. Yeah. So for some reason, spirals just start becoming cursed, right? To the point where
everything turns into spirals.
Everything turns into a spiral. Cool. Like, we don't go back to monkey, we go back to spiral, you know?
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I mean, you've probably seen that, like, one of the most famous shots from Uzumaki is this shot of, like, it's inside, like, a big, like, shallow barrel.
Yeah.
And like it just appears in the living room one day, and the daughter and the mum are like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this barrel? And they open it up, and it's the husband that's been like wrapped around inside.
Oh my God.
And like just like completely de-skinned and everything. And it's fucking horrific in the manga.
And I'm just like, yo, how scary can spirals be?
And then you see that pattern, you're like, oh, this shit is fucked.
This shit is fucked. And then, you know, you find out like people start avoiding spirals, and you're like, that shouldn't be too hard. And then you realize that your inner ear has like a spiral in it. And it's just like some of these like wild fucking ideas where
it's like Bird Box, but you can't see the spirals.
Yeah. There's a spiral everywhere.
I don't want to look at the spirals.
And then it just becomes like really good, kind of like cosmic Lovecraftian horror, because he never explains what's up with the spirals.
No.
You know, you never get an explanation.
Even in Gyo, they never explain it. It's why are the fish coming to terrorize us? I don't fucking know. They just are.
I think just voice acting these kind of stuff just hurts it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Just hearing people voice it,
I agree.
Yeah.
In a weird way, kind of takes the heavy lifting that your brain might be doing for you to make it scarier.
Yeah.
And puts it on someone else, and you have to kind of like listen to them.
Again,
like,
I think like the biggest advantage of Junji Ito stories is just like it uses its like quietness to its advantage. Yeah. So the moment you start adding anything like voice acting or music or sound effects, it just feels tacky.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. It could honestly be the most well-animated thing. But the moment you start to hear stuff like that, I feel it just takes away from the subtlety of it.
Is Junji Ito like super popular in Japan? Is people really well known?
I'd say infamous.
Because I told some people, I'm like, oh, have you seen Junji Ito? They're like, who?
I feel like if you like manga, you'll know him, but like he's not like a household name or anything like that.
I feel like if you just like horror as well, because I talked to some people who have like are not into like the anime sphere at all. I talked to someone who was just like, what the fuck is Attack on Titan? And somehow he had read a Junji Ito work just because he was like super into horror.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how we get him into anime.
Yeah.
Start off with horror with a Blair Witch, end up
which
in,
was
like,
great because he was like I'm really into Lovecraftian horror, but I've read Junji Ito stuff. Is there anything else you could recommend? And I was like, ooh boy, do I have something for you called Made in Abyss, which I think is the best, Lovecraftian horror in anime right now, if not ever, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if it always started off that way, but especially Made in Abyss season 2, it's just gotten like
the fucking movie was
the movie was fucked.
Holy shit. But
gross.
Like what blows my mind about Made in Abyss is that it's just getting harder and harder to recommend now. Not because it's getting
fucked.
Not because it's getting worse, but it's getting progressively more and more weird in a way that I can't really convey with words. You know,
it's really difficult to explain season 2.
Yeah.
Season 2 is a weird one. Like, it was great, but it was also like, what the fuck did I watch? Like, what am I watching?
So many times I had to backtrack, being like, hold on, I need to hear that explanation again.
Yeah. And you know, that's what I personally love. I love the direction that Made in Abyss 2 is going, where it just gives me this like creepy. It fucks with your emotions in a way that few pieces of media can, because you can't really describe how it goes about doing that. All you know is that it is doing something really weird and making you feel really uncomfortable and weird things, and you can't really explain why it's doing that.
Season 2 made me give up on the fact that there'll be a good ending. It's gonna be a bad.
Define good ending.
It's gonna be a bad ending.
Define good.
Like
ending.
a horrific ending.
Like, it's just not gonna end well.
I don't think it ever was planning to go in that direction. To be
I
honest,
thought maybe there's a chance that it could be positive. But
the moment I saw Meaty in season 1, I was like, oh no, this is gonna be bad.
Made in Abyss is really good though. If you haven't watched it, watch Made in Abyss. It is fucking weird.
Yeah,
check it out.
What would you say then? Because this is always a point of contexture. What would you say is the best horror anime? In terms of like, not in terms of scariness, but in terms of what the genre has to offer.
Entertainment?
Yeah.
Another.
No, another. I didn't even find another funny.
I found it fucking funny, man. Holy shit, those last 2 episodes.
Oh, the last 2 episodes are so
my
good.
god, that's the last 2 episodes. The last 2 episodes of Another is a horror classic.
Doesn't everyone always recommend? What's it fucking called in Japanese?
Shiki. Shiki's normally one.
Shiki's good.
When they cry in English.
Higurashi.
Yeah, Higurashi.
Yeah.
I always recommend.
Yeah,
It's like
Higurashi.
the horror,
Well,
right?
Higurashi's good for the first 2 seasons, and then from season 3, it just turns into a slice of life.
I mean, I didn't actually finish Higurashi. I've only watched the first season, which is bad, I know, because all the answers come in like the second
Season 2, yeah.
I also did a oopsie and watched it dubbed, which again turned it into a comedy.
Yeah.
Because the main character sounds just like fucking Sonic. I don't know why or how they did that.
What's with the baseball bats, huh?
Why is everyone dying?
Yeah, I don't know. Is there even a good horror anime?
I would say, because I personally love horror anime.
I'm gonna Google the top 10 horror anime.
I would say personally, it's a tie between Mononoke and Magnetic Rose.
I've not seen Magnetic
horror?
Rose.
So,
Mononoke's a horror.
not Mononoke, not Princess Mononoke.
Oh, I was gonna say, I was
Different
like-
one.
I was
I mean,
like,
Princess
bro, what are you
Mononoke
cooking?
can get fucked as well.
Okay,
to be fair. Wait, what's the top one?
Tokyo Ghoul.
Bruh! Who made this list?
Go on.
This is like Google's. This is Google's suggested.
Okay.
horror.
Okay.
So Google's
So we got Tokyo Ghoul.
Elfen Lied,
Elfen Lee,
Parasite.
No.
That's an action.
No.
Anything with dubstep automatically is disqualified from horror.
Yeah.
Another
Yeah,
Shiki,
sure.
Yeah.
Devilman Crybaby, which is kind of horrific.
Kinda.
Corpse Party.
Oh, yeah, I watched that. That's just gross.
All right, here's the one. High School of the Dead. And then
All right, I found my new favorite horror
Attack
anime,
on-
boys.
Attack on
High
Titan.
School of the Dead.
Attack on
Bro.
Titan.
Attack on Titan.
That has like
Death Note, Dead Man Wonderland.
a lot of what you're saying is like how they have horror elements.
Okay.
Like, I definitely see the horror elements in something like Attack on Titan and let's say Tokyo
This
Ghoul.
is not a promising start to the list. So this is IGN's top 10 best horror anime of all time, and the picture they chose to show the list is a fucking Death Note. Okay, so this is IGN's,
The absolute state of horror anime.
IGN's top 10 best anime horror of all time. It was posted in October 2022, updated 2 months ago. 2 days ago. 2 days ago.
Well, let's see. Let's
Number
roast them
10,
right now.
Theater of Darkness.
Oh, Yamishibai.
Yeah.
Yamishibai is actually
Okay.
like, yeah, it's creepy.
It's okay.
It's horror at least.
It's the queen bee of horror anime. You know what I mean?
Number 9, Tokyo Ghoul. Is Tokyo Ghoul
Why?
a horror? Like, I feel like it's not even.
It's like a horror for like the first 5 minutes, and then it's
Yeah.
just like shonen action show.
Yeah.
Let's
8,
go.
Devilman Crybaby, according to IGN.
Sure.
Number 7, Paranoia Agent.
Yeah, I would label that more as a psychological. But
yeah.
6, Parasite.
No.
Jim, what do you want? 5, Hellsing. Hellsing is more action.
No, it's more action. Yeah.
There was nothing that horrified me about that.
4, Perfect Blue.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would actually say yes.
Yes. Again, more on the psychological
Number
aspect.
3, never heard of this one. Boogie Pop Phantom.
Boogie Pop Phantom is, it's psychological. I wouldn't call that.
It's more of a thriller.
2, Higurashi.
Yeah.
Number 1, Death Note. Death Note is the best, according to IGN, the best horror anime.
Oh my god, that hurts me.
Okay, if anyone ever says Death Note to me, I'm like, yeah, of course I know the best horror anime of all time.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that from now on.
High School of the Dead.
Okay.
High School of the
Dude, there's
Dead.
got to be a better rant.
Okay, so
No, there isn't.
isn't.
I've looked into this because I'm like, there must be some good horror anime, and a lot of the time it just doesn't exist.
Okay, so legit, like as someone who's seen like all those on the list, regardless of if they're horror or not, but like most horror anime, I would still say Mononoke and Magnetic Rose. Like Mononoke is like, I feel Mononoke is what it would feel like if they actually made a good Junji Ito adaptation.
Okay.
Right.
Where it's like, it has the same like subtleties and quietness of Junji Ito. It's not necessarily scary, it's just super fucking unsettling.
Yeah.
Because it's like really quiet and really like, I wouldn't say slow, but it definitely takes its time.
Yeah.
And like the concepts are really scary. And then Magnetic Rose is like a short film that was, I think, spearheaded by Otomo Katsuhiro, the creator of Akira. But it's essentially, think of Perfect Blue in space.
That's all you needed to say, baby. Let's go.
It's literally take the art and animation of Akira and the concept of Perfect Blue in space, and you have Magnetic Rose.
sick.
It's fucking awesome.
That sounds sick.
Yeah, and it's super quick. It's like a 40-minute short film, but it's awesome. I would heavily recommend it if you like horror.
Yeah, because go for it. I'm looking into something.
I was on Twitter the other day and I saw a GIF of like a really old ass anime. I thought, damn, I was sick.
Which one?
And so I went to the comments and they were like, oh no, don't watch it.
What is it?
And then someone replied to them being like, this anime is banned in Norway for child pornography. And I was like, because I won't watch it then.
Is it Midori?
It was Kite.
Oh,
Kite. Yeah.
That's a hentai.
Oh, it's a hentai.
Yeah.
And that's also been adapted into a Samuel L. Jackson live action film as well, right?
It has.
Yeah.
I had to watch both when I did my review for Kite a while back.
Fucked up?
I can see why it got banned back in the day because I think it came out in the late 90s, I believe.
It was just like, it was one of those moments where I was like, this looks cool. Opens the replies. Oh God.
Yeah. It's
I've never heard
the
of
anime. So the anime is super short. It's like 2 episodes or something. But it got banned in a lot of countries because of that reason. And then I mean it's well animated. It's a really well animated show, and the concept is interesting, but just the execution wasn't.
Had to put that one scene in there.
Yeah, I mean there's a all ages version as well, without the sex scenes and everything.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think it's the one with the sex scenes that got banned.
Oh, okay.
Because of those
Well,
reasons.
it's nice that they removed the one without it, so
And
you
then,
can watch it.
for some fucking reason, Samuel L. Jackson was like, I'm going to turn that into a live action.
Was it actually him who wanted to do it?
He's in it.
There's no way. Yeah, but it wasn't.
I don't know if it was spearheaded
It
by
wasn't
him.
him. Like, hey guys, I got this great idea. Like,
But they
let's do it.
literally heard that Samuel L. Jackson likes hentai.
Yeah,
They were
yeah,
like,
he's
hey,
like-
yo, you want to be in
Hey,
this?
and he's like, yeah.
I don't think he would like that hentai.
Yeah. But I had to watch that as well for the review, and it's dog shit. It's really bad.
Which one? Them both?
The live action.
Is the anime good?
The anime, I think, is decent. Again, it has a really interesting concept. So the concept is that like the main girl has this weapon where it's a gun, but the bullets explode on impact.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I saw a gif of that.
Yeah. So of like the bullet going in and then they explode, and basically it's like the girl looking for her. Basically, it's like it's kind of like a Batman story, essentially. Of like the girl's parents got killed by this unknown organization, and she's on the hunt to like kill the killers.
Yeah.
And so the concept is cool, but it's just like the ending is super fucking weird. Again, there's that like weird problem with like the R18 version.
I feel like this happens so often with stuff I like in anime, where I'm like, this is sick, and then I just find out that it's like Golden Boy we watched like a few episodes ago.
Yeah,
I love that show, and then I saw all the replies to the comments being like, yeah, it's a shame about the manga though, and I was like, what happened? What happened in the manga? Apparently he gets like fucking golden showered and like kidnapped and just turned into a full on porno, and I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Of course.
That wasn't the anime I watched. Like, why? And then I'm like, oh, well, this thing looks cool. It's like, oh yeah, it's cool. Well, you're a pedo now. And I'm like, what the I just wanted to watch something cool.
You're a porn addict.
Yeah, you're a porn addict.
Get off Pornhub now.
Like, I just wanted to watch. I wanted to watch some. When I find stuff that's old, I'm like, this looks cool, and then I find out that like everything anime that's cool and old is like all fucked up.
It's like, haha, you actually watch porn, which is surprisingly accurate for a lot of, especially older shows.
What was going on in the 90s, dude?
Yeah.
What was Japan going
through? The
90s
OVA like era, they were all unhinged.
Yeah.
There's so many shows that came out.
There were just so many shows that came out in the 90s that were just like, I couldn't see why anime had this underground kind of aura around it. Because you could just discover like this grossly like...
weird.
Yeah. Like a lot of it was like just an overabundance of violence and gore and like over-sexualized shit.
You know what's the best horror anime? Genocyber.
Oh my God, Joey.
Well,
oh my God.
Don't watch that. It sucks.
It's crazy how now it feels like you have like Redo of a Healer on that weird shit in anime, and everyone's talking about how like, dude, it's so fucked up, it's so gross. It feels like, damn. I mean, I feel like we really fucking tamed down though compared to what they were releasing.
I think
Redo of
Redo of a Healer is worse, if I'm being honest.
Really?
You think so?
I don't know. Just like,
I don't know.
Is it because it's like conceptually more fucked up?
I will say something to do with the art styles now, because they're way more like vibrant and like soft. That it feels way. I don't know why. When I watch this 90s shit and it's all grungy and it's all animated, it feels way grosser.
Yeah.
Way like worse. Even though Redo of a Healer is like, well, fuck.
It's also because as well, like especially shows like like Genocyber or like Violence Jack or like any of the like really fucking gory 90s horror anime.
Yeah.
The problem is one, it's less saturated, so it feels more like dark.
Always darker, less vibrant.
Yeah. And
like,
also, they're way fucking better animated.
Yeah.
Like,
No, they are.
Genocyber has this one scene where it's like 120 frames per second, guy's head exploding. And I'm like, this is like too much detail.
That probably makes it for a sick t-shirt though.
It would be, yeah.
See, the reason why I think Redo of Healer is worse is because, viscerally, and I think the things that happened in 90s OVAs are, yes, more fucked up on paper, but I feel like, I don't know.
Redo of Healer is fucking
I'm not saying that Redo of Healer wasn't fucked up, but like...
No. The big reason why I just couldn't really get into Redo of Healer was, it was like just...
If you got into Redo of a Healer, I'd question everything.
Yeah, it was just like the biggest, this is just obviously the most like power trip.
Yeah, incel fantasy.
Incel fantasy that you can get. Whereas I look at a lot of 90s OVAs and I was like, yo, these animators are doing some sick stuff, man. Yeah. Of course it's fucked up. Of course it's like hyper violent and shit, but holy shit, someone was dedicated to their craft.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And in Redo of a Healer, it's just like, all right, let's just take the most incel power fantasy you can possibly get. And of course, I don't really take it seriously because it's just so far of left field that I'm just like, I just don't even take...
It was just comedic for me.
Yeah, exactly,
it's like
right?
just funny.
Exactly, right? I just could not take that shit seriously at all.
So what you're saying is, if Redo of a Healer was as well animated as Genocyber, you would hate it less.
What I'm saying is, I would rather Redo of a Healer just be a hentai than pretend to have a plot.
That's true.
I would rather it just be a hentai. I genuinely.
Yeah.
I would genuinely rather Redo of a Healer just be its own thing, have a hentai.
How is it that if Redo of a Healer was a hentai, I'd feel less guilty to watch it? How does that make sense?
Because it pretends like it has a plot.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? It pretends like there is character development and there is an ongoing plot line, and that's the thing that bothered me the most about Redo of a Healer.
That's like if I was trying to watch Rants on like Crunchyroll.
No, this shouldn't belong here. I'm like, come on, man.
Who are you kidding?
Let's stop pretending here. Let's stop pretending. All right, either go all the way or just don't do it at all. Don't do it at all. That's
I agree with that.
I was scrolling on one of those websites and I saw a new cultured anime had been released.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it was just fucking Red Riding Hood being smashed by the wolf. And I think that was the whole premise. But the wolf was had riz. I watched it because I was like, I wanted to see how possibly they could sell this.
Grandma, what big riz you have?
It was like, no. It was like the wolf was trying to smooth talk. It was really fucking weird.
Oh my God.
And and the second episode was it's even weirder. Let me see what it was real quick.
Oh my God. Yeah, just, I don't know. I feel like I think the biggest problem with a lot of horror anime is just a lot of them just do not adapt. into animation. Like they're fine in manga format, or even light novel format or like game format, but just something about anime, it just makes it less scary. I don't know why.
Yeah, do you know what I love? Like when you're just watching an anime that's not a horror anime, but there'll just be this really scary episode in it. Connor, what is it?
What's up? Oh my fucking!
Let's see.
I thought it was like when you said the wolf, right? I thought you meant like someone dressed up in a wolf costume. It's straight up a wolf.
And the second episode was like Alice in Wonderland being smashed by like I think like the Mad Hatter or something. Bro, the hentai this year has been straight ass.
Yeah,
you've had no good shit.
Yeah,
I have not watched hentai in a while.
I agree.
Other than the hentai episode, obviously.
Yeah, other than that's Joey like anime. Hentai is going down the same route. Joey just stopped watching.
Yeah, it's gone downhill, guys.
I didn't mean to bring it out. I just thought that was really fucking funny.
Yeah.
It made me laugh a lot.
Yeah,
there's so much garbage goblin shit this year as well. There's like Goblin one that came out.
Fucking Goblin Slayer just ruined.
Are you telling me that hentai are
anime.
also being over fucking exposed to isekai? Is this what's happening?
That's what it feels like.
Oh my fucking god!
No, because like that shit's invading anime now as well. Because like I did a video recently on like an anime, and it is an anime. It's called My Life is Inukai's Dog.
And I heard about this one.
And it's a show where a guy for some reason wakes up and he wakes up as a dog and his high school crush picks him up and adopts the dog.
Yeah.
And it's an ecchi anime, so I initially thought it was just I've seen this in the before, like POV. You with a girl and she's exercising or something like that. So I thought it would just be I thought that him being reincarnated as a dog would be just like reason just for some very interesting, let's say, anime camera angles.
Oh, it's a POV anime.
It's kind of a POV.
Oh god.
And then you watch episode 1, and then you realize, oh, like this girl Inukai, she likes the dog. Like she really likes the dog.
No, God, no!
And it's not even like a reincarnated dog. It's not a person wearing a dog costume.
She fucked the dog?
It hasn't gone that far yet, but it's a harem anime.
It's happening.
It's a harem anime.
Harem of who?
Of the dog and the girls.
And it's
how many? What?
It's like 3 or 4 and counting right
now.
What?
How?
It's like I watched it and I'm like, that's it. That's my line.
You know what's terrifying though?
This is my line right now.
I thought
it's
Red Riding Hood being railed by the wolf was bad.
It's terrifying because this is not the first time we've had a concept like this in anime. Because a while back we had Dog and Scissors.
Yeah, this one takes.
Which is like, but this just seems like if Dog and Scissors went down the hentai route.
All right, I'm gonna say one thing that happens in the manga.
Yeah,
breastfeeding.
Hey yo!
Who and who? Who is breastfeeding who?
The dog is being
breastfed by one of the girls.
No, hold on. No, explain to me.
Hang on a minute.
Now I gotta ask. Why in the fuck would you breastfeed a dog?
We're a long way from Texas.
We are a long way from Texas, man.
What possible reason would you as a human being have as a need to breastfeed a dog? There's no world.
Oh, hey, good to know. At least the anime has an elf in it.
Just make porn.
I kind of wish they did.
I can't with a dog.
I can't believe this is an anime.
Yeah, I saw this.
Because I saw screenshots of it. I'm like, oh, sick new hentai just came out.
Yeah,
and then people are like, oh no, it's being streamed. I'm like,
wait, you said it was a sick hentai.
No, I was like, I saw it. And I was like, all right, people are talking about this hentai, sure. And then everyone was like, no, you can watch it on streaming sites. I'm like,
yeah,
it's crazy how you literally just say hentai and everyone like absolutely just is immediately cool with like giga fucked up shit.
Yeah,
because the moment you say anime, like,
well, because at this point it's like it's not a surprise.
Yeah.
At this point, we've had much more.
I'm done.
I'm
just done. Like
I feel like I feel like there should be a line between anime and hentai, right? Because anime it's getting aired on TV. There are some barriers, but there aren't as many barriers as some of the stuff you see in hentai. Hentai, you have to go out your way to find hentai, and also because of that, there's, it's kind of like mixing porn with just normal media, okay? It's, of course, there's a place for that stuff.
Yes.
I feel.
Definitely.
And by reducing and kind of like getting rid of the barrier as much as anime has recently, it's getting harder and harder to distinguish the fucked up things that is happening in anime versus what's happening in hentai.
I mean, I was thinking that when Ishizoka Reviewers came out.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, how is this being aired? I'm like, the manga is fine because it's, it's published by like a publication that's more oriented towards like adult manga, right? So it's like, whatever, it fits in there. Who cares, right? But then when they started when they started airing it, and I was like, oh, they're keeping everything in.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, why is this not on a hentai website?
That's a bold move.
Yeah,
I respect it. At the time, I respected it, but now I see Inukai's dog. I'm like, this is the exact moment where humanity went on the wrong path, okay? If this led to Inukai's dog, we have gone down the wrong timeline right now.
We wouldn't have had this if Ishizoka Reviewers didn't pop off.
This never would have happened if Harambe never got shot. I'm just saying it right now. None of this
Harambe would have saved us.
None of this would have happened if Harambe didn't get shot. Like, straight up. Why? When is this airing?
Huh?
When is this airing?
It's airing right now.
It just finished airing.
Oh, it's finished.
It just finished. It was airing in winter season. As soon as, I was fine with the degenerate shit.
What were people saying on YouTube about this thing?
We were fine with the degenerate. I was fine with the degenerate stuff. And to be fair, I'm still fine with the degenerate stuff, you know. But as soon as we started touching our dogs, literally with Inukai's dogs, that's where I was like, okay, anime has gone too far now.
Nah, one of the top comments to like an anime recap of this is, nah, bro, what is this? Crying face.
The fact that it's like POV as well is just like even more unsettling because that means this was made with a potential demographic in mind. That like there are a number of people, regardless of gender, who looked at this and went, hell yeah, this is my fantasy right here, dude. Now I can finally live my dream of being reincarnated into a dog and getting breastfed.
This is really tough for me as a human being because I am very anti-censorship and anything you want to do. But at the same time, I'm like, you just didn't have to make this. Like, you just didn't have to. I don't know how we can not censor you without figuring out a way how I can just get you to not fucking make this.
I'm not gonna ask you to delete the tweet, but it should have stayed in the draft.
I would never enforce being able to delete your work. But how do I delete it for you?
Like, how do
I?
How can I just delete this from the internet and everyone's consciousness? But
like this really, this is like the fucking tough the sweating button thing. But like I am vehemently anti-censorship, but like this is like this pushes it where I'm like, dude, something just shouldn't be made. And this shouldn't be an anime. This should be on a hentai website, like a soft, like in the vanilla category of like, it's whatever. Some fucking nice shit happens. At least you get in Joshi Lucky episode 3 and 4.
That's the good
at least
shit.
Are we?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And we're getting more of
and 5 and 6 has been announced too.
Let's go.
That's what we need, baby.
It's a great hentai.
I do miss the High School of the Dead days, though. You know,
oh my god, bro.
The older
Rest
I
in
get,
peace.
the older I get, the more I realize, that was a classic.
Dude, it's a banger.
That was a classic show, man.
I owned that on Blu-ray.
Did you really?
I don't even have a Blu-ray player. I collected anime Blu-rays just because I liked like collecting the physical media.
Yeah.
And I never had anything to watch it on.
Like, because I'm thinking back and I was just like, there is no other anime like High School of the Dead that just has so much care and attention being put into equal parts of just action and just being fucking horny.
Yeah.
Normally it's like you just are either it's a really, really fucking horny show and that's the only reason you're watching it. Or
Episode
it's
6. I even remember the episode number.
Is this the one made by the Death Note guy?
Yeah.
No,
it was directed by the same guy that directed Death Note, the anime. Tetsuo Araki.
The author's dead.
Yeah. Who
For what?
High School of the Dead.
Yeah,
he died a while back. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, but the same guy who directed High School of the Dead directed Death Note and season 1 of Attack on Titan as well.
Araki Tetsuro.
Yeah, which is why.
So this man just doesn't miss.
This man doesn't miss.
He's coded.
The fact that he could make High School of the Dead as memorable as it is, even though it's the fucking dumbest plot line and it's just there to be horny, but yet the action in it just slaps so goddamn hard.
Opening is still a hood classic.
Oh man. That fucking scene with the boob matrix, he was ahead of his time. That scene is still etched into my mind to this day.
So good.
It's like anytime I want to feel like a teenager again, I just pop on that scene and I'm like,
I'm going to shoot a rifle through a pair of flopping tits while using another pair of tits as leverage. You can't make that shit up.
Yeah.
So good. Do I remember how it ends? No. Do I care? Also no.
Imagine if we got the director to direct One Punch Man.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
Am I crazy? Is One Punch Man season 3 coming out?
It's coming out.
It's coming out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm not crazy. I didn't imagine that.
I believe the rumors are that Studio Mappa have got the license.
How do they have everything?
I don't know.
Bro, they're like Thanos right now. They're like another one for the collection.
Another classic added.
Yeah,
insane.
Yeah, I don't know how they're collecting everything. I think they're taking a lot of, like, Chainsaw Man was like a big risk for them because they actually like funded it themselves. So that's why they have like
a risk.
Sorry,
that was not a risk.
It's something new that most anime studios haven't done. They haven't funded their own anime. Fucking big brain.
Yeah.
And of course, it's kind of like it's got to have paid off. But that's kind of the reason why Chainsaw Man was able to have like, I guess, like 12 different endings and the insane fucking animation.
That was insane.
That was such overkill, but man, I was living for it.
Yeah. Like going back to something we were talking about earlier, speaking about horror anime and just the lack of it. One thing I always find interesting is when there's like a series that's not a horror series, but then they have like an episode that's just really fucking terrifying or like really, really scary in itself, right?
An example?
One of the examples that I always...
SpongeBob.
Which SpongeBob episode?
When they get stuck at the place in Bikini Bottom, when they go down the
down the cliff. Yeah.
That was kind of scary. Yeah. Sorry, God.
I've not seen a single SpongeBob episode, so I have no horse in this race. I have no horse in this race. One episode.
There's no dog cest.
Yeah. God fucking damn it. Now, one episode that stands out to me is there was an episode of like Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, and
I love that anime.
Yeah, fucking insane anime. It's basically Cyberpunk before Cyberpunk existed. What
No. I had a memory. I'm sorry. Do you want me to say it or do you want to finish?
Yeah, go on, say it.
It's been so long since I watched Ghost in the Shell. There's like a plot point where they find the guy and they're like, "How do you have so much money?" He's like, "Well, I just took every extra yen that happened during every bank transaction off the top." And I was like, in my head, I'm like, what? Like every bank transaction?
Yeah.
Because it would be like millions of just take 1 yen from all of them. Or something, or he would take the it was so fucking stupid.
Hey man, that's fucking.
He was like, "That's how I'm a billionaire," and we're like, "Oh my god, never thought about that. If only I could do that. If only I could take $1 off the top of every bank transaction.
1 cent. It's more like 1 cent, right?
It was something like 0.1 yen from every bank transfer.
Yeah.
And he made it seem like he was a gigabrain dude. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I have it. Okay, go on.
No, that was. I like that episode actually.
I like that one too.
Yeah, but there was one episode where they were trying to find the serial killer, and I don't know why this scene always sticks out with me because
the smiling guy,
not the smiling guy. That
was also terrifying.
That was also pretty terrifying. There was a lot of actually pretty scary
I gotta
stories.
watch that again.
Because it's such a good fucking series. But there was this one episode where, okay, so it basically follows like the whole concept of Ghost in the Shell. Imagine Cyberpunk, that kind of world, but you follow a police squad, like a police squad. That's basically the core concept, and it's all like episodic kind of episodes. So every episode has a different storyline that's kind of self-contained. And in this one episode, they are looking for this serial killer, and the way that the serial killer's MO is that he loves to skin his subjects alive. And the thing that he does while doing it is, since it's in a cyberpunk-like world, what he does is that he jacks into the girls. He skins girls, by the way. He jacks into the girls that he's about to skin and transmits POV, what he's looking at, to the girls' retinas.
How do I not remember this?
So what happens is he transmits his POV to the girl's retinas, so the girl can't close her eyes, and he will skin them alive while the girl is watching herself being skinned alive live.
Fucked.
And the terrifying thing is they never show anything in this episode. They never show anything. It's just the description of the crimes itself. And there's one scene where they're watching one of the recordings of the girl being skinned, right? And all you hear is just the sound of this happening, the screams, and one of the guy running out and just throwing up. And that fucking terrified me, man.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it didn't show anything, I think kind of even made it worse, right? That was that whole episode has just stuck with me so strongly, not because the content itself is terrifying, but just like the whole idea of that shit happening.
I think, as you said, like it's the fact that they don't show what is happening.
Yeah.
And they show the before and the after.
Yeah.
Is like, because like that reminded me as well, like one of the scariest scenes in Perfect Blue.
Yeah.
Was the one where was it Perfect Blue or Paprika? I forgot which one it was, but it was like
Satoshi Kon movie.
Yeah, it was one of the Satoshi Kon films, but it's like the one where like the guy goes into the elevator, and there's like a radio just playing.
Yeah.
And I think the concept was like the killer like leaves behind like a radio or some kind of object in it to like notify that he's about to die.
Yeah.
And it's this brilliant scene of like Satoshi Kon not actually showing the murder happening, but he shows the before of the guy going into the elevator, seeing the radio, him getting terrified, and the door closes.
Yeah.
And then the next moment is the door opens and he's already dead.
Yeah.
Right. And it's this idea of like, it's not showing the gore as it's happening. It's showing like something fucking happened here.
Yeah.
But we're going to leave it up to your imagination, because your imagination is probably going to just, expand upon the fucked upness.
Yeah.
Which makes it even more terrifying. Right. And like, that's so hard to do.
Yeah.
But I feel like a really good director, like say like Oshimamura for Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah,
he's so good at doing that.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I remember that scene as well.
And like another like not scene, but another like character that fucking terrifies me. Johan from Monster.
Oh yeah.
Like he never
best anime villain ever.
Holy shit. Yeah. No, I totally 100% agree. He is by far the best anime villain to be written. He terrifies me, and do you ever like really see him do anything like fucked up, like gory or anything like that? But like, just, I don't know. Throughout all of Monster, whether you read the manga or watch the anime, you can feel his presence everywhere, right? And I don't know how the author was able to just convey that everywhere you just feel his presence, kind of like a ghost, and just the idea of him as a character also is just fucking terrifying. That it's kind of the shit that keeps you up at night.
Monster's
right?
such a good series.
Yeah.
And that's why he's the GOAT.
The dub is really good as well.
Yeah, the dub is
really
the dub
good.
is great as
Johan
well.
sounds terrifying in the dub.
Yeah.
Yeah, Johan is terrifying in the dub. And what's great as well is that even though as the series goes on, you find out more and more about his backstory, you never find out enough that it stops being terrifying, right? And it goes all the way up until the very last scene, the very last page of the manga. I just remember it because I'm like, how are they going to end this? And you don't remember it. Well, Connor's not the type of person that remembers something after you finish watching it. We've established this already, but it ends it in the most like perfect and yet terrifying way, where Johan poses a question, I guess, and it just like, okay, that just somehow just tied everything together, and I'm just like, oh shit.
We watched 70 episodes.
It's been a long time since I read the manga, but it makes me want to reread Monster now.
I want to rewatch Ghost in the Shell too, because I don't remember anything.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot about Ghost in the Shell, but I just remember that it fucking
The only thing
slapped.
I remember is in the latest Ghost in the Shell, in 2045, I think it was called, just fucking Kusanagi backflipping up the stairs. Which was the fucking most hilarious CG you'll ever see in your life.
They made a new one on Netflix.
Yeah.
And the CG is...
Oh my God, her just backflipping up the stairs is so funny.
Like actually bad.
Actually bad.
Not like Attack on Titan fans complaining over one microsecond of CG.
Was I the only one that found episode 6 of Cyberpunk Edge Runners kind of like scary as well? Just the way it was directed.
Which one was episode 6?
Not so much scary, more so like, oh no.
Oh, that episode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it's easily one of the best episodes in the show.
Oh, I think it is like by far and beyond the best episode in the show.
I think just like the last 5 minutes of it.
I don't know.
Is like incredible. Yeah.
I just found the way that they portrayed cyberpsychosis.
Yeah.
Just that really like gave me like an unnerving feeling. Seeing some of like your favorite characters like experience cyberpsychosis.
It was cool because it's like, normally when you hear about the concept of cyberpsychosis, it's fucking terrifying.
On the game, it's dumb as fuck.
It is dumb as
really?
fuck.
Like, we got another psycho. Go and gun them down. And then you just go and fucking shoot them. And it never happens to you.
Right.
It's never a threat to you.
Yeah.
You're the protagonist.
I think what was so good about that in Cyberpunk was that like it's scary, but also because you know about the person that it's happening to, you also feel really empty inside of like you just feel sad and you're like, oh, fucking hell, why?
Yeah.
Like why did it come to this kind of thing? And then when, that scene happens, you're just left with this idea of like, fuck. Now I don't want to watch it anymore. This just made me sad. What the fuck? But I'm also going to keep watching it.
Yeah. I mean, did you all watch it like one day as well? Because it goes so fucking
binged
fast.
it, yeah.
I watched it on one flight, the one that I was on with you, and I was like broken by the end of it. The guy was like, do you want another cup of tea? I was like, yes.
And some tissues, please.
But no, I mean, I would love to see more horror in anime because that's... I don't know if you can do it. I don't know if you can do it well.
What do you mean? We got the fucking dog-cessed one.
That was the most horrific thing I've ever seen in my life.
Do you think there would be any live action horror films that would work in anime?
Wait. You broke my brain.
Yeah.
You just said that.
Well, so as in like we've seen a lot of anime being turned into live action.
Yeah.
But what if you took an already pre-existing live action horror film and turned it into an anime? Do you think it would be as effective? Like if you took like say The Ring.
I'd love like an animated parody of Paranormal Activity.
That's just another.
It's like
That's just another.
It's like Chainsaw Man characters. Like Denji is just like, oh dude, why am I someone grabbing my leg?
The problem with like horror anime is that to me, when I see something animated, there's always that suspension of disbelief that's there, where I there's like a kind of safety zone where even if some really violent and gory shit's happening, there's always this disconnect where I'm seeing that, oh, okay, it's animated, therefore it's not real, therefore it's not scary, which is why I rarely find anime horrific unless it's Inikai's dog, but like... In terms of like live action horror, that's where I kind of like draw the line because I can't. My brain's just like, oh, this is real. This is happening.
So maybe like something, say like because there's a lot of horror movies, like live action movies that use ideas of like sci-fi and fantasy and stuff like that to like kind of pose it, right? But I've always thought like like that's very far removed from reality. So do you think like if it was well animated enough? Do you think that would work? Like as much as I don't like the movie, right? Like what if they took like Cloverfield? And they like turned it into an anime.
No. Dude. Sharknado.
Sharknado in anime.
That would be hype.
Dude, get UFO table on a Sharknado anime.
I can picture now them jumping on the fucking sharks and the tornado to like kill the big shark.
Like super slow-mo, just like boom.
I can see it.
That'd be hype.
That would be so hype. I would love to see that.
Get Science Saru on that.
Yeah.
Oh, you do. If we get a Science Saru Sharknado.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just I'm happy to be proved wrong, but I've never found a horror, specifically horror anime that has scared me to the point of a live action horror.
Yeah.
Or a.
I wonder if that's again, what you're mentioning, like just the animated medium is just inherently less scary.
Yeah.
Than,
I don't know, man. Courage the Cowardly Dog was pretty fucking scary.
That shit was terrifying, actually, straight up.
That was animated.
Yeah, some of those words actually.
Red and Stimpy was pretty scary at times.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like fucking nightmare fuel at some points, man. Holy shit. How did they get away with some of this stuff?
They can do it in Western cartoons, so I wonder why they can't do it in anime.
Seems like now that game adaptations are all the rage, though. Seems like that's where headed. We had the Super Mario Bros. Movie that I haven't seen yet, but apparently is popping off. And then Castlevania, Cyberpunk, I think. Last of Us. I'm hoping we get more games. True. Yeah. Dude, because I want Doom animated so bad. A Doom anime animated by Studio Trigger.
Because we all want to forget about the live action, right?
Bro, yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Imagine Doom animated.
Is the live action that bad?
It was horrendous.
Like Resident Evil is god awful.
Yeah, Resident Evil.
The movies are campy as fuck.
Yeah.
It's like the Mortal Kombat movies. You ever watch those?
Yeah, I kind of like those.
I like it, but it's not a horror film. No. It's a fucking stupid ass.
It's hilarious.
Comedy movie. It's an Adam Sandler film that somehow thinks it's a horror movie.
I remember because the Doom movie has The Rock in it, right?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Immediately, I can't take it seriously.
I don't know. Like, are you talking about like the original Mortal Kombat movie? I fucking love that movie.
Yeah, but that's
Holy
because it's like
fuck.
I watched the latest one. I don't know why I did. That was bad.
I think the original one had its own. I'm like, oh my god,
it has its charms. Yes.
The fucking soundtrack.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Like,
That
oh my
alone.
god, what a fucking classic. Yeah, yeah.
So good.
Like that was like the techno 90s in a nutshell.
Did you watch the second one though?
Yeah, I did. Okay, that was bad. That was bad. That was actually bad.
They literally cut the budget by like a 20th.
As far as I know, there's only one good one, right?
What, the
Just
first one?
Mortal Kombat? The first one, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's good.
I wouldn't say it's good,
It's like
it's fun to watch.
It's entertaining. It's funny, and like
it's like the 90s Mario Brothers.
Who's
movie.
funding
It's
these
not
movies?
good.
Yeah,
Who's
and
funding
just
them?
it's just the soundtrack that just goes like challenge. what did he say? It was like do 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 do, and then like some guy shouts Mortal Kombat. Do, 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 do. Oh my fucking god! What a fucking hype tune, man.
Any fighting games you think could make good animes?
Fighting
Guilty
games.
Gear?
Maybe could.
Maybe.
I mean, it's basically already an anime.
That is basically
Yeah, but
already
like
an
actual
anime itself.
story.
Is there any fighting games that has a good story?
I think the problem is fighting games have giant rosters.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you incorporate them? You know,
Well, they tried to do it with Mortal Kombat, right? But they could only
And then
choose a
you-
couple of characters.
And like, because always as well, I don't know if you feel this way. All the most interesting characters in the fighting games are like the weird ones, like because you always have the bog standard characters, which are like the main characters.
Dude, I wanna
it's like Mario in Smash Brothers. Like Mario is the most boring character in Smash Brothers.
Dude, I want a movie of Kuma from Tekken.
That's what I was thinking about.
I want to
that
see
too.
CGI
I was thinking about
Kuma
that. That's
fucking
just
fighting
cocaine
everyone.
bad.
Yeah,
It's just cocaine bad.
That is just cocaine.
it is just cocaine. Man.
Oh
I don't know.
God.
I want to. Oh man. What's the? Because I feel like they're gonna make another Mario movie, right? Because it did well.
Probably,
How do
yeah.
you make the next story?
I mean,
Yoshi's Island.
Yoshi's fucking.
I mean, I haven't seen the
kids?
Mario movie, but they could definitely make another Mario movie.
True.
Right.
Just do like a Mario Galaxy or like a Mario Sunshine. and,
Yeah,
there's a story right
There
there.
are so many Mario characters, and that I'm sure did not get the spotlight. I mean,
Luigi's Mansion. We need a fucking Luigi's Mansion.
Wario.
fucking
Or Wario World.
Wario World. Fuck yeah, man.
Wario, played by Danny DeVito. That's a movie, right? In itself.
Has Mario ever had an anime?
Yes.
Yes, it has.
It also had. It also
They had a Saturday
has.
TV show cartoon.
Oh,
was-
it did,
was
didn't
It
bad.
also has a manga that I used to read when I was little, and it's been still going for like 40 years.
Oh, do you want to know one announcement I saw like earlier today that just made me sigh? Rick and Morty is getting an anime.
Wait, what?
Rick and Morty
Wait, who?
is getting an anime.
Don't tell me it's Mappa.
How does that make sense?
Please don't let it be Mappa.
I don't know, but
Isn't
like,
it already animation? How do they?
but like season 7 is obviously still getting made, but there is another separate, I guess, non-canon like season that is getting animated by a Japanese studio that is Rick and Morty the anime.
これはピクリケです。
めっちゃ面白いです。Rick and Morty.
And I'm just like, oh,
How are they? How is that? That humor is not going to translate.
no.
It is not going to translate.
Why?
It's like when you watch Simpsons dubbed. Like it just doesn't.
Yeah, right.
It just doesn't work.
I just
Who's
like,
asking for this?
I don't know. I don't. It's Rick and Morty fans are asking for.
No, they're not. No, there's no.
no, they're not. Guarantee.
Bro, Rick and Morty fans fell off because of all the fucking Justin Roiland shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How the fuck did they get greenlit?
I don't know.
Oh, what I am excited about though is the Scott Pilgrim anime. That's
Oh,
Yes.
that
The
is
entire
actually
cast.
hella excited
That
for
is
that
so
one.
hype.
Holy shit!
The entire cast as well.
Yeah,
As
the
in-
entire
Yeah.
cast is coming back. I don't know how they're gonna. I don't know how Michael Cera is gonna be voice acting, but I'm genuinely curious. You know,
It's gonna be Michael Cera.
it's just yeah. I'm
Just
genu-
hearing Michael Cera come out of a fucking anime character is gonna be hilarious.
And like they got Chris Evans back.
Yeah.
They got like the entire cast back, and Masaki Iwasa isn't directing it from what I understand, but they got his studio to make.
Oh,
it. And-
really?
yeah. And if there's one studio I trust to be able to
Science
translate, the weirdness and the uniqueness of
Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim from live action to anime, it's Science Saru.
Yeah,
because that's another thing. I do think Scott Pilgrim is like a one of a kind kind of movie as well. There is no other film that I think has done what Scott Pilgrim has tried to do as well as Scott Pilgrim has done.
Well, that's a Edgar Wright film.
That's an Edgar Wright film.
I mean, he's just a brilliant fucking director.
Well, he's a brilliant director that, respectfully tries to do something new every time, kind of like Nolan in that sense. But, there has been other hey, here's like a nerd movie to appeal to the nerds, kind of thing.
Me.
That's I like just that. Like me, like, well, he made a video game. He made it.
Hold on, let me turn off Mortal Kombat.
That's why my favorite movie is Gamers.
Yeah.
What?
Gamers.
Oh,
Gamers?
The one with Adam Sandler and Peter Dinklage.
That's a movie.
No, it's called. Is it called Pixels or Gamers? What's it called, Kai?
I think it's called Pixels.
Pixels.
Yeah.
I love that one. I love that film.
What's was it Free Guy or Good Guy?
Free Guy.
Free Guy. Yeah, that was another film that was just.
I didn't watch that. Was it good?
Hey, Gamers. I don't know. Jack
was in it.
Yeah, Sean was in it. I'm always a bit weary when my cousin really likes a nerd film because he's.
I don't trust his taste.
Dude's like a fucking brother to me, right?
Yeah.
But he's on the cusp of just yes, I'm a nerd. I like Marvel movies, kind of guy. I play video games.
Dude, now it's in to hate on Marvel though. Now it's kind of hype.
Is it?
It's in, yeah. It's in to hate on Marvel.
I don't think it's in to hate on Marvel.
It's in. It's mainstream now.
What do you mean it's mainstream?
I'm pioneering. I'm hating Marvel movies.
I've been doing it for years.
No, I know.
Joey's like, my time has come.
You were kind of a
brothers rejoice.
You were pretentious before, but now it's in.
Oh fuck!
Now it's in. So now you have to change your stance.
God. Now I hate it.
You have to say Ant-Man Quantum Realm is the best film ever.
Yeah.
It's like everyone. No one says nice things about Marvel movies anymore.
Is it just because the quality's going down? Or?
Yeah, because it's terrible.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting.
I'm so fucking happy we finally get different movies for the next coming years.
Yeah,
thank God.
Yeah, I'm so
if only
people will actually make other movies.
If only they did that with isekai anime.
Yeah, well,
all right.
Isekai anime.
The population of Japan has to get bored with isekai at some point. It's gotta happen.
I said that 5 years ago. We're still here.
No, it's gonna happen.
I don't know. I mean, as long as they keep making interesting isekai concepts, I'm gonna keep watching. I'm
define interesting, because you could say the vending machine isekai is interesting.
That's not interesting. That's just
this
a meme.
One. This dog one. That's
not
too far.
That's not an isekai.
What do you mean? Yeah, we don't belong here long enough. We don't claim it. We don't claim it.
That ain't my man's.
We don't claim it.
That ain't my man's.
It's in the reincarnation. It's totally. It's more Buddhist, honestly, than it is isekai. It's totally different.
That ain't my man's. That ain't my man's.
It's body transfusion. It's not isekai.
It's more furry, actually. It's actually the furry's fault. It's the furry's fault. It's always the furry's fault.
Okay, I mean, isekai is actually very similar to the whole comic book phase that Hollywood is going through, where it's less about isekai sells. People clearly watch it.
It's the familiarity.
Right? It's the familiarity with it, and 99% of isekai fucking sucks ass, right? But then you get that 1%, which is genuinely just isekai side, just a good fucking story and a good fucking show. Same with fucking comic book movies, right? You have a lot of comic book movies, and then you get on the off chance you get something like Joker.
Yeah, no, I'm not denying that. I might seem like the fucking I just hate all isekai guy, but
that's me.
Yeah.
That's me.
Look, I'm not going to be like that.
Me.
There's some good isekai out there, of course, but I feel like the 99% of the shit ones could have been replaced with actually some more unique, interesting concepts. That there are a fucking plethora of those in the manga and even the light novel world that just don't get any attention because the guy has remained in the same fucking world.
I'm calling it now.
Yeah,
we're trying to get to the point where we just straight up remake other animes. And just but the premise is that you isekai just into that anime. They're not going to say it, right? So picture this. Someone dies. Yeah. And they appear in another world. Watch this. They've got a book where you write someone's name and they die in it. And they just start repeating aspects of Death Note.
So at the end of One Piece, Luffy actually dies, and then he becomes a Shinigami with Ichigo. And
I'm telling you, in the next 3 to 5 years, we'll get an anime that is just somebody who isekais another world and becomes a pirate, and there's a ton of One Piece references, and it's just fucking dog shit.
That just sounds like a Gintama chapter.
That's just it. They're just going to start remaking anime
and
just slapping on an isekai on it.
I mean, a lot of times I feel like when I watch an isekai, I kind of just ignore the isekai aspect.
Yeah, you have to. to now because it makes no fucking sense.
Just because it kind of feels like in like 80% of isekai that I watch, the isekai is irrelevant to the fucking story.
Of course.
But I feel like the author just put that in because he's just like, I need to put isekai in my story somehow, or no one's actually gonna watch or read my work.
Yeah.
But
I feel like isekai almost kind of like diminishes the value of the other world inherently because it's like, oh well, you know, it's not his world. We are the main world. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, whereas Made in Abyss is like, hey, this is the world.
Yeah.
This is the characters, their world.
And,
like,
and that's the unfortunate thing is that like there are so many like modern isekai that have interesting like little bits of concepts that would easily stand up on its own.
Yeah.
But the problem is it fucking, you know, it knee jerks itself by adding isekai into it because it's a necessity nowadays to be like, this is how to get the kids' attention. Let's put it in an isekai. And it's like, well, you know, if you have an interesting concept, you can keep it in the same world. You could, you know, I think people have forgotten that the fantasy genre exists. You can just start in that world. You know, it doesn't have to come from a different world.
Yeah.
You can just start there.
No, I mean, even above that, people I would like people to remember that the fantasy genre is more than just the same starting Final Fantasy town.
Yeah.
Which is every fantasy and isekai anime. It's all the same fucking world, and it's just like fantasy.
It's like, dog, can I copy your homework?
It's like copying the homework from the guy that has given his homework to like the 20 other people in the class, and everyone is copying from the same sheet.
Yeah.
You know, because like it's interesting you mentioned about like the world building as well, because like you've seen Rising of the Shield Hero, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, like one of the biggest thing that pissed me off about Rising of the Shield Hero is that it just felt like the whole world was made around the main character.
Yeah.
Right? Like the main character was obviously like the most competent and the smartest person in the world, but it wasn't because he seemed like he was competent or smart. It was because everyone around him was just fucking stupid.
Yeah, it was like if he said like 2 + 2 is 5, everyone would be like, shit, you're right.
yeah, right.
He's the shield hero. What can he say?
He's the shield hero.
It's the most useless class, but actually it's impressive how he's managed to make everything work so far.
Yeah,
so we should just believe him.
I feel that's like a big problem is that like they don't. It doesn't feel like the world exists independent to the main character.
Yeah, it feels like the world is built around the main character to make the main character look as cool and as badass as possible.
It's like, it felt like it was just like no game, no life world, but
Yeah.
shitter.
Yeah,
At least
exactly.
admit to how fucking stupid this world is.
Yeah, exactly.
And like now,
built around you.
and like now that's the peak of that kind of like stupid power fantasy has come out, which is called Eminence and Shadow. That's as good as it can get. That's what happens when you take like you. This is like an isekai where it takes all like the stupid and overpowered tropes. Bangs everything up to 100, makes the main character as cringy and as edgelord as possible, and it just like it's so stupid and overpowered that it just becomes fun again. You know,
Right.
That's like the peak of the genre. That's been done now, isekai. So now we can do other avenues. Now we can explore other avenues.
Like taking every immovable object possible and putting the fucking protagonist into it.
yeah. That's what I want to see. But
Is that what you want to see though? I'm done with it, bro.
I don't know. I just want to see good shows.
I watched so many anime back in the phase of when I would watch anything. There was an anime and there was like monoliths. And that like the main character had like a cute little girl that was a fucking cat or some shit, and they just stayed near the monoliths. And there was a guy in like a top hat and one of those like fucking masks, like the anonymous masks.
Black Bullet.
Like that's it.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
How the fuck did I remember that?
Holy shit! How did
Yo.
you get that from my dog shit description?
I'm the anime man, damn it.
He is the anime man. Did you like Black Bullet?
No, it was shit. It was shit.
I remember watching.
It had like the first half of the first episode. I was like, okay, this could be interesting.
This is how I like.
And then it just went to shit.
This is how I know, unless you've been watching anime for 5+ years, that your opinion on anime is not relevant.
Yeah.
It's because I used to think that shit was fire. And I was like 1 year into, because I was 1 year into watching anime and I thought, damn, this shit is
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah, but that's you could replace Black Bullet with Akame ga Kill,
I just feel
Mirai
like
Nikki.
you have that phase with anime where
Data
it's,
Life.
where it's all.
The Data Life fans never grew out of that phase, Joey.
I don't know if like it's a different length for everyone, but I think everyone has a time period where you will no longer tolerate every anime.
Yeah.
Like
It's the end of the honeymoon period.
Yeah, and I think for some people, I speak to them, I'm like, holy shit, you've been in this and you're still going like 8 years strong. Like, how do you just watch these isekais? I think it's good.
Hi, that's me.
Yeah,
Hello.
right.
Like,
Hello,
no,
that's
because
me.
you talk about anime and you're like, no, it's bad.
Yeah.
But you'll still watch it, which is this insane part.
Yeah, you're out of the question because it's your job.
Yeah. And also,
No,
you are
okay.
getting paid.
Okay. Here's the thing. Okay.
No way would you watch half of these isekai if you weren't getting paid.
Most of the time, I just read the manga actually
Okay,
because less time. But some isekai I think genuinely do have interesting. Like the reason I like isekai isn't the isekai aspect. A lot of the times a lot of them have like one really cool, interesting idea that they explore for about a few volumes, and then it stops, and then you're like, okay, I can move on to the next one now. It's not like the isekai part. It's that one interesting idea that they explore, and then because it's isekai so disposable, then it's just really easy to like move on from one series to another because every series explores a different thing, and then it's never interesting enough to hold up for like 10 volumes or something.
Yeah.
It's just like, I read it for like 4 volumes and I'm done, and then I can move on to the next interesting idea. But like I don't know. I do watch a lot of anime, but I feel like I watch less anime than people think I watch because...
Impossible.
Okay, so I watch everything when the season comes out, right? A lot of that time I watch that in times 2 speed because I fucking have to now because there's like 50 shows every season. But I genuinely only go off and finish the shows that I find interesting. I think are going to be good. And most of those shows end up on my end of year list. So I end up watching like 20 plus shows every year, which if you think about how much people think I watch, I'm sure people think I watch way more.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between the shows I watch and the shows I finish. And I only finish a show if I really fucking like it.
Oh,
And
yeah, no.
yeah, and I feel like that's a big thing because I feel like there's a reason, right? There's a reason why the average score in Mao is like 7 out of 10. Right? Because like a lot of people are like, oh, people don't know how to review correctly. And I'm like, no, you're not gonna finish a 5 out of 10 show. I normally only finish shows if they're 7 out of 10 minimum, right?
See, that was the problem I had.
Yeah.
Even if it was dog shit,
Yeah.
I stuck through all of those until the end, and that's why I'm burnt out.
See, it was only when I could let go of that feeling of the completionist side of you.
Yeah.
As soon as I let that part go and I'm just like, I'm just gonna finish what I feel like finishing.
I tried to do all the side quests, and I found out there was no end game.
Yeah. So like this last season, didn't actually watch anything aside from Vinland Saga.
Right.
That was it. That was all I watched. That was one anime.
pretty fucking good, though.
Yeah, because
Yeah, it's great.
Vinland Saga was fucking incredible. But the season itself, pretty shit. Actually, no, I did finish one. Trigun. Fucking
Oh, yes.
Trigun was great.
I did finish
Does
that.
it have a good ending?
What do you mean?
Trigun.
Well, it goes in a completely different direction.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So have you watched the original at
I
all?
watched the original. I thought the ending was weird.
Okay, throw everything you know about the original out the window, because this one goes a completely different direction. It's less comedic, and I would say less like Western in terms of like it's
It leans more into the sci-fi side.
it leans way more into the sci-fi aspect, which even just saying sci-fi aspect is kind of like a soft spoiler if you only are judging by the original, because that doesn't really come to play until like halfway through the series. But it's less of a spaghetti western, which is very reminiscent of the original, and it's more of like, here is a weird sci-fi story in a sci-fi world. It's more akin to something like Dune. And I really like that. And holy shit, Studio Orange knocked it out of the park.
They don't miss. They don't miss.
Why is it called a spaghetti western?
Huh?
We don't call other shit.
Oh, it's because the term originally came from the fact that a lot of Western films were directed by Italians.
Oh.
I literally found this out like 2 days ago from a YouTube short. So thanks, YouTube.
Well, you learn something new every day.
I was like, that's a fucking weird way of saying it. We don't go like, like a Japanese tuna. We're like, or like it's weird.
Yeah, a tuna horror.
A sushi marvel.
Well, I guess that's
that has
Yeah.
been this episode of Trash Taste. Is there a good horror anime that we
No.
missed? Is there any horror movies that you would recommend? Please let me know so I could seem like I'm like a good husband to Sydney to be like, Sydney, I got a good horror movie for you.
Hey, look at all these patrons, though.
Look at them all.
Do you guys like
a
horror
look.
films? I
Have a
bet
look
you
at them.
do.
Yeah.
There's so many of them. Wow. Oh my god, I can see all of you guys. Hey, but if you'd like to support the show, then go over to our Patreon, patreon.com/trashtaste. Also follow us on Twitter, send us memes on the subreddit, and if you hate our face, listen to us on Spotify.
And yeah, that's been this episode of Trash Taste. Fuck.
What?
I was like, we had a horror themed episode, and I didn't mention Goosebumps once. I was like, how did that happen?
That's a whole episode in.
I was like, that's a huge.
R.L. Stein the goat.
I've never seen it.
That's enough.
All right, see you guys next week.
All right, bye.